Discovery.
Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, and as always I'm joined by Gaz.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hello.
And today we're going to carry on and hopefully conclude the segment on fake news and propaganda and false flags and anything else you can think of in any other way we've possibly been lied to by the people in charge.
They don't lie to us, do they?
Yeah, here and there.
So we got some.
So,
well,
yeah,
should we say if it's your first episode, we do some.
Welcome.
Oh yeah, hello.
Welcome. Hello.
We
I'm sure I can't see you, but I'm sure you're all wearing smashing blouses.
a rather fetching gown. Yeah, we usually do some weird news from around the world, which usually can take us anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, and then we'll get into the main subject. But stick around for the news because it's usually quite entertaining and weird.
That's why we call it weird news. Okay, what's the first one then? Mike, this one of yours? Oh no, it's one of mine. Fantastic. Questions are being asked on social media about the location of Greggs in Glasgow for those of us who aren't British locals. Greggs is a pastry and cake shop that are quite popular in, let's say, poorer parts of the country.
Quite popular.
Very
Quite popular. These things are second only to, like, I don't know, McDonald's, I guess. There's as
Not
many
in London,
Greggs.
it's pret-a-manger everywhere.
We don't go to London.
I've been to London a few times.
London? What's London?
But yeah, so Greg, I know if you're a long time listener, you'll know our previous bit on Greggs where they came into some controversy by replacing Jesus with the sausage roll in their advent calendar.
And so we respect them more now
Yeah.
than we ever have before.
But I respect them a little bit more now because apparently if you join up all the locations of their shops in Glasgow in Scotland, it makes a pentagram.
But
So it wasn't a sausage roll of Jesus Christ, it was a sausage roll of Antichrist.
Exactly.
Well, I have seen this phenomena in other towns for work, and I find this to be slightly disturbing, but Greggs will be within half a mile of each other.
Yeah, they will because people can't walk too far.
There is a part of Birmingham called Great Bar.
I
Right?
thought you were going to say Greg Bar.
No, well, it might as well be called Greg Bar. I am not exaggerating to you. There's a shopping precinct on this side of the A road, okay? And in that precinct is a Greggs.
Right.
You cross over the road, and there is another Greggs directly opposite, walking distance of each other, right? Surely that goes against some health and safety charters or something. Why do they need two? Who the fuck is on the one side who can't be asked to walk? Well,
People
I've
who
answered
eat
my own
Greggs sausage
question.
rolls are usually quite fat. They don't want flights of stairs and an overpass and another flight of stairs.
Fuck that.
By the time they've done that, they're gonna. Well, I mean, it's even they're not exactly the cheapest things anymore.
They're not actually. Greggs isn't that cheap. But my point is, with them being so close together in a small urban area, it might be quite easy to draw lines. And how much of a pet can we scroll back up to the drawing of the pentagram in question?
Well, obviously it's how you draw the lines, but even so,
I mean, it's pentagram-y,
yeah.
but I suppose still pretty weird.
I bet we could raise a demon on it.
So what's there in the middle? What does that say? It's a
Oh, there's nothing in the middle. It's
there's a restaurant called the Willow, right?
Ah,
Now that appears to me to be in the centre of the pentagram.
near enough. I
So if
suppose,
you're
yeah.
in Glasgow, I would get down to the Willow and report back to us, because I have a sneaking suspicion you will find interdimensional shape-shifting paedophilic lizards having a party. Allegedly.
Probably go down there on a Saturday night though. Don't just hang around.
Well, you're definitely going to get glassed no matter what. I mean, it's in Glasgow and it's in the centre of a fucking pentagram. A pentagram of Gregs.
Watch out for barbed penises.
Demonic barbed penises.
Stitch that, you wee bastard.
Oh! Brings a whole new perspective to a Glasgow kiss, doesn't it? So yeah, Greg's. Satanists, possibly.
So who's asking the questions though, and what questions are they
It's a
asking?
Twitter user called Bozza.
Is it obviously some kind of prophet or conspiracy theorist?
What was Bozza quite bored on a Saturday, and he was looking for his nearest Gregs?
If he lives in Glasgow, he's probably unemployed. That's not a dig.
Allegedly.
That's not a dig. There's a very high unemployment rate.
You get people that do this sort of shit. You know, you get like the people that watch all the NASA feed, like
Yeah.
24/7, or
Yeah.
go on Google Earth and look for pyramids in the Antarctica.
I get that though.
I always spend my time
But
on
Gregs!
Maybe he was eating a sausage roll at the time.
He's like, hey, fuck me, my local Greg's is shite. I need to find another one. Wait, there's 5 of them. How many points are on a pentagram?
They actually replied to him as well.
What did they say?
It's just a coincidence.
They would say that.
Of course he would.
The official Greg's Twitter, verified with the blue tick, has literally just said, it's just a coincidence, Michael. The fact that they acknowledged it, what does that say?
Well, apparently, the same shape is found from Greg's in Aberdeen if we scroll down.
Oh my God.
There you go.
The Gregs are restricting the new Antichrist. I can see.
That looks more convincing as well. I like it.
I bet they don't respond to this one.
Oh my God.
And an inverted cross in Belfast.
Oh my
Oh.
God. Oh, now that is like I was explaining in Great Bar, like you could spit on one from another. It's, oh my God, what does that say about us as a society?
As a nation.
That you need that one
does
Greg.
it say?
That's one shopping centre with 3
Right.
fucking Gregs.
So yeah, did Greg's reply or anything?
The Satanists are in control of the baked food goods.
Satanic sausage roll.
They didn't reply to them.
Well,
See?
We're on to you, Gregs.
I've got to be honest. There is.
Illuminati scum.
Allegedly, Mike. Allegedly.
Settle down, Mike, because I was about to say, since the whole Jesus controversy with Greg's, and this is not a bit that I'm doing for the show, this is true, I've genuinely found a new love for Greg's sausage rolls.
So have I.
I'd fallen out of love with them for a long time. I maybe had a bad one or a cold one, but now, I don't know, I've re-fallen in love with the Greg's sausage roll. 2 of them, that's a good snack.
Yeah. I went to cheese and bacon wraps for a bit.
Ooh. Yeah, problem, you see again, I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but you're playing the lottery of the hot and cold if you're buying one of those wraps, because a cold one,
Yeah, cold bacon.
cold bacon wrapped in cheese.
Congealed cheese. It's
I hate that word. That word, congealed, is such a good, horrible word, because it just, there's a name for it, onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
It sounds like it just
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
So
congealed.
Congealed.
And blancmange.
Do we think there's anything to this? Greg's.
Yeah, I'm down with Greg's being the harbingers of the new pastry-based Antichrist.
Because isn't there like...
The Antichrist will return in the shape of a sausage roll. It has been written, it has been prophesied by a drunk bloke I met in the pub the other night.
Well, in
He will
Washington...
be seasoned with many spices.
Don't they do this sort of thing in Washington, can't you? On a government building, some monument.
Well, there's the Pentagon.
Ah, it is kind of pentagrammy.
And there is like a pentagram in like the main buildings inside Washington.
Yeah, but it also was built by Freemasons who like the old pentagram to Freemasons.
So, there is nothing to say that the man at the top of Greg's, or one of the men at the top of Greg's, you've got to be high up to be deciding new store locations. What's to say he's not a bit of a Freemason and he's getting a massive sausage roll boner out of this sort of thing?
Maybe he's getting a bonus paid in sausage rolls.
Well, we've already seen Greg's troll Christians massively
Yeah.
with the whole let's replace Jesus with a sausage roll. Could this be a bit more trolling on the whole Greg's? A long-term troll?
Maybe.
The fact that they acknowledged it concerns me.
It is like that Birmingham City fan builder who put Birmingham City Football Club BCFC in the Molyneux bricks. You can only be seen from above. He trolled them for a long time. So yeah, it could be a very similar thing, a long-term prank.
Because
maybe the anti-craze, it's still marketing, isn't it? Maybe it's a marketing campaign.
where are the Gregs?
Sell your soul for Gregs.
Sell your soul.
Sell your soul.
Sausage roll.
Exactly. I'd be hitting that shit as a marketing executive.
There's a jingle.
Yeah.
Sell your soul for the sausage.
Or you could do like put a metal version and sold my soul for a sausage roll.
Okay.
You know, it's
now.
Daddy, you're
I have
gonna
just-
be damned in hell.
I've just googled
But it's
Greg's
so tasty.
in our hometown of Telford, England, and according to Google Maps, the Gregs in Telford make a cross.
oh, but is it upside down?
It is if you
No.
turn it upside down.
Look, there's the
It is if you turn it
Yeah.
upside down.
Yeah.
Turn it upside down.
the map will just turn upside down.
but you've got to
Now
orientate.
it's an upside down cross.
Is it? But is the map orientated to our location? That's the thing you got to look at. If it's just like an outlay of Telford,
Yeah, but North's still the top, isn't it?
it depends where north is, relative to where you're sat.
Satanism would invert it.
But it's still, if you're listening at home, Google Greg's in your hometown, tell us what shape they make. It's still religious iconography. Something fucking weird's going on. I know there's a lot of shit I don't believe on this show that I won't accept, but I'm down for the Greg's conspiracy. I think there's some dodgy shit going on there. Well, they're feeding us cancer and diabetes wrapped in pastry, so
Yeah.
allegedly.
I won't have nothing to say about sausage rolls, guys. Nothing.
Well,
Nothing to be said.
Full of the finest lips and eyeballs.
Allegedly. All right. Before we get ourselves into any more legal trouble with Greg's,
I'm just before we finish. I'm just like, I love the way they say prepared freshly in store or baked freshly in store. Yes, that bit may be true, but you're missing out the bit that it was frozen on a lorry for like 2 weeks.
but it's baked.
Then you
freshly.
baked it freshly in store. Thanks, guys. Love you, Gregs.
Yeah, I do actually. Another one. Nevada welcomes aliens back to Area 51 with a UFO-friendly travel guide.
Okay.
Basically, it's been barely 6 weeks since bombshell reports revealed the United States Defense Department had been funding a UFO program, and now the Nevada Division of Tourism is hoping the news may have sparked renewed interest in one of the state's specialities, UFOs. Basically, if you're an alien, I read this article earlier, Nevada will pay for your tourist trip.
But I have questions.
Yeah.
What currency are the aliens using?
Oh, they'll just like show you around, put you up in the hotels, give you a good time.
So
as
we
an
don't.
off-world visitor.
Oh, so we don't PayPal some money into
No.
the aliens' account, like.
No. So I was thinking that we dressed Mike up as an alien and got a free trip. Just glue some more hair to him, we'll be all right.
Travel Nevada, a fresh itinerary. So where are they going to show people?
Oh, the gates to Area 51, obviously. Then you
Okay.
got the black mailbox, which is supposedly where people see a lot of UFOs.
Do you think the aliens are going to be more interested in like Niagara Falls, the Eiffel Tower? Things that normal tourists go and see, not.
Hey, people go on these tours, man. I mean,
Yeah,
the
I said
whole.
normal tourists.
If I was out in America, if I was in Vegas, I would go and see some of the UFO stuff for a couple
I
of
would
days.
love to. The only thing is, I was put off by another podcast I listened to, Tell 'em Steve Dave. They went there, and all three of them were massively disappointed because it does just sound like just a normal sort of villagey type place with just like there might be a big plastic alien outside the supermarket.
Oh, man.
There might be pictures of aliens in the bar, but you're not going to see any aliens.
No,
put it
but
that way.
also I don't want to see pictures of aliens in the bar. That'd creep me out if I was drunk. Imagine just walking in and forgetting the alien cardboard cutout was there. Like, you just fucking freak out, wouldn't you?
It's like the
Yeah,
cantina in Star Wars.
punching the fucking thing.
Just you to be violent to it. I mean, I'd buy it a drink, you would have beat the shit out of it.
I'm just giving it a typical drunk English response.
Well, I think you should be more. You've seen the movie Paul.
Yeah.
Love that movie. You should be more worried about the actual locals in the bar.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Not
yeah.
the possible aliens. It's the, you goddamn limey prick.
And I would.
I'm very sorry, sir.
But I would case, well, do you know why we're called fucking limeys? And then I'd tell them that tale and point out that he was rather stupid for calling me a limey.
But in that
and
time,
then he punched me.
Yeah, but no punching. He'll riddle your ass with bullets.
No, because I'll do the Kingsman bit where I lock the doors and say,
okay. Beat him up
manners maketh man, and then just beat him up with an umbrella.
Well, it's a nice idea. I'll give them that. I think they've wasted a few days of their lives, though, to be honest.
Well,
Nevada really is the hub of alien activity already. Bethany Drysdale, Chief Communications Officer for the Nevada Division of Tourism, told Newsweek. For decades, people have said they've seen weird things in the sky on the extraterrestrial highway that borders Area 51, which has been around forever, and it's a fun route, even if you're not an alien. Oh, you dick. There's a lot of UFO stories that come out of that part of Nevada. Great.
There is. They did actually change the name of the highway to the Extraterrestrial Highway.
Oh, fair.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, that's its name. There you go.
Awesome.
I wonder if there's a lot of natural gas leaks in the area.
Who can say?
A lot of fracking going on, is there?
If the peyote is particularly strong. It is a desert sort of area, isn't it? Like, it's really weird. I can't explain it. I was high as fuck on hallucinogenic drugs, and I saw all this weird shit in the sky. Can't explain it. Aliens!
And a space coyote.
And it had the voice of Johnny Cash.
It did. That's my trip.
Fantastic.
Alright, what else we got then?
The man who's lived in a sandcastle on Brazil Beach for 22 years.
Fantastic.
Is it Ronnie fucking Biggs?
To explain to anyone that Ronnie Biggs was one of those guys the only guy in the Great British Train robbery that got away with it for so many years and fled to Brazil and lived high off his takings.
Yeah, I think he's dead now, isn't he? Or is he in prison in Britain?
For some reason he came back to Britain to die, and I can't remember if he's dead or not.
Have you ever heard? Do you know there was a brief time when he was the lead singer of the Sex Pistols?
No, I take it was in Brazil.
I think they must have gone out there to record. By God, it's awful. It's awful.
No
Malcolm McLaren was they'd lost John Lydon, Johnny Rotten, and
Sid Vicious at this point, I'd assume.
And Malcolm McLaren, in his sort of desperation to keep the brand going and make some more money, was, well, what's the most controversial thing I can do? Oh, we'll go over, because at the time, remember, there was lots of pictures of him posing on the beach.
Yeah.
He was loading it up. He was not shy about the fact he was on the run in Brazil.
No, they wouldn't extradite him. They wouldn't extradite him. There was no. He probably paid some money to the right people and.
Well, the song is fucking awful, and it's got this god awful lyric in it. He's saying, "God save," and then a list of things that are horrible, and one of them is, "God save Myra Hindley."
No, that's.
He pronounces it Hindley in the song. It's fucking awful.
Yeah,
God save the Sex Pistols, they're an awesome bunch of blokes. He doesn't use the word awesome. But that is the... Oh, it's fucking awful.
Oh,
anyway.
Right, enough of that. Yeah, that's terrible. Let's gloss over that and never speak of it again.
It's awful. Ronnie Biggs. What a guy. Anyway.
For 22 years, beach monarch Marcio Misael Matalayas has avoided high rents in an upscale district of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, by living in a sandcastle.
Wow.
Wow, so he's 44, so he was 22 when he built a sandcastle and moved in. And...
Hang on, though. Does it get washed away every night and he has to rebuild it the next day?
He does have to maintain it.
I should hope so. It's made of sand.
Yeah. He does have to keep maintaining it. But his unusual home has not stopped the 44-year-old, known as affectionately by the locals as the King, from pursuing his three passions: reading, golf and fishing.
Alright, I want to see what the... Is there a picture of this? Because it's...
Well, I think...
I want to know if it's actually a castle or not, or just like an igloo.
It says his three passions are, what was it, reading, golf and... What was the other one?
Fishing.
Fishing. Well, I think
Wanking
clearly
yourself
that's a
on the
lie,
sand.
because one of
That's
his passions is clearly castle. Oh, fuck me, it is a castle.
It is. We're looking at the picture
Sand.
now, and it is a castle. That crone looks photoshopped.
However, though, This man has no front teeth. And he's essentially fucking homeless, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Call
but fair
him the
play
king.
to him, man. He lives on the fucking beach every day. He's on the beach in Rio de Janeiro. I would swap fucking places.
I think he's having a better time than me, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't mean that for my girlfriend.
Well, that does depend
He
on
hasn't got a job.
No.
Doesn't pay any rent, so don't have to worry about anything.
Well, what does he eat? Scraps.
Yeah, that's it. He's fucking dumpster diving for food. I
Hey,
mean, in an
He's
already.
a king.
He
People
can
give him
afford a
gifts.
scepter, according to the picture. He can afford a scepter and a crown.
I don't know. That looks photoshopped on that crown. That doesn't look real.
I don't know.
It's a shit crown. It's made of paper anyway.
He's no macho king, I can tell you.
No, he's not.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I like his sandcastle. I won't lie to you. It looks cool.
But how functional is it?
Exactly.
There's just one room underneath that he goes.
So
he's got all his belongings.
Oh,
in
so
there.
it's a bit of a facade. It's got the facade of a castle, but on the inside,
It's a hovel.
it's a fucking hole in the ground. A hovel?
Sand,
That's such a good
gentlemen,
word.
sand in your crack.
No, he's used to. Man, Brazilians, they deal with sand, I'm guessing, a lot better than we do. As Brits who visit the beach once a year, if that, I'm sure he's
living in one of the most desirable places to live. Doesn't have to pay any rent, nothing.
I'm sure
Yeah,
that.
he's also got no lock on his door in a very violent country where he's like.
I was going to say, he's one of the locals.
Goods, does he? He doesn't need anything.
He's got a fishing rod and some golf sticks. I can tell you that much.
But he's one of the locals in those posh condos behind him. One day going to get sick of him, bringing down the house prices and basically rubbing it in their face. Is he going to get bumped
I'm really
up?
surprised. This country would never get away with it. They would have moved him on.
Too many rules. Move him on, exactly. That's such a British face.
Move on.
Dismantle his worldly possessions.
He says, "I do
Piss on his
not." No, they just fire hose it down in this country. You know?
Well, it's better than what they do in the
probably say
States.
it's a fucking fire hazard.
Health and safety, they definitely would.
Health and safety gone mad.
If we just let anybody build whatever construction they like from sand on the beach and live there, before we know it, we'll all be living on the beach and we can't have it. Think of the children.
No, they just
Brexit!
They can't tax him.
Nah, that's always the thing.
Yeah.
Well, how did that guy, remember the famous guy in Wolverhampton who lived in the tent?
On the island.
On the island for years.
He did die of pneumonia though.
Yeah. Apparently he was a Polish ex-soldier.
Something like that. Yeah.
But I mean, how did
They
he
gave
get
him
away
a new
with
tent
that?
though, didn't they?
Well, but how did he get away with that for so long? Wasn't he breaking some? Yeah. Because whose land is that? That's council land. I
Council
guess,
land.
isn't it?
Maybe they just thought, sod it. He's
Just
no.
let him-
I remember seeing him once. He was an old bloke with a massive white beard, so he's just like, whatever.
He lived there for years.
He just wanted to stay there though, didn't he? He wasn't causing anyone
Hurting
harm.
anybody.
He must have been happy.
Then again, they were simpler times back then, guys. There was a sort of just a like, let him be kind of thing. Nowadays, in an age where we put spiky things up in shop doorways, so homeless, or put a metal
Those
bar
things
across
on
a
the
bench.
benches. To explain to the listener, if you haven't seen, a thing going through Britain at the moment is putting a sort of a curved
An armrest,
metal,
effectively.
yeah, sort of an armrest right in the middle of a bench to stop homeless people fucking sleeping on them. And I can't be the first person to say this or think this. I'm no genius. I'm no political student. Why the fuck the money you're spending on those devices is not being put into fucking getting these people off the street?
There's more empty homes in Britain than there are homeless people.
Jesus. Jeez. Well, I had this discussion with my girlfriend. We drove past the Swan in Wellington earlier today, and I said, that's getting knocked down. It's been sold and agreed. That's going to be houses. And
Nasty.
the owner said, do we really need more houses? And I said, well, I don't know, because we do have a homeless problem, don't
We
we?
need more affordable housing.
That's the key, isn't it?
That's
more
the key.
affordable
Yeah,
housing.
that's true. I mean, instead of knocking up,
They're knocking down council flats in London and building these big towers that are for multi-millionaires, and they're just laying dormant because the way that it's structured allows these people to make money on empty properties. Do you know what I mean?
Is that what's happening with... Sorry, this is a bit local for the listeners, but with Manor Heights in Hadley, is it?
I don't know about that.
they're never redeveloping that shithole.
Well, it was... I have an affection for that. It's a block of flats that was... they were 60 flats.
Wasn't it just full of drug dealers?
Yes. The first time ever, when I was 11 years old, because my friend's dad lived in those flats, but his mum lived in our street by us, so I went with him to visit his dad on the Saturday one day. And we were walking back in there at night, and we went through the foyer, and I know what it was now, but at the time I saw a woman heating up a spoon.
All right.
And I remember thinking, well, that's weird. I wonder why she's trying to melt that spoon. She was cooking heroin right there in the foyer.
Yeah.
So yes, they had their problems, those flats, but they've been closed down for well over 10 years.
Yeah, they
just rotting away, empty. 60 big flats.
They
Bigger
were-
than
yeah,
the
they-
flat
they are
we're in
big
now.
flats,
Big
yeah.
flats. So I guess it comes back. So somebody, because I've always wondered, well, how can it? Because somebody owns that, somebody bought it, but they're making
Well,
money
think
for
about
it sitting
think about
there.
the price of land, price of housing keeps going up.
Yeah.
So you just sit on it. In 10 years' time, you're making a profit.
How many people could be in there if they spent some money on it? Because you can get nice blocks of
course it is,
flats.
mate, yeah.
They do
Yeah.
exist. And what is quite tragically ironic, I don't know if I'm using ironic right actually, but so you got that block in Hadley, but then just up the road in Ketley is literally an identical block.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But in that block, you have to be over 30 to live there, or maybe even older actually. But there's certainly no youths in there.
Yeah.
And
No,
I've
there
been
isn't,
inside there once. Now there's no fucking nobody cooking any.
There's no
heroin
one
in the
doing
foyer.
smack in the
There's
foyer
a
in that one.
concierge. You know, there is staff. It's clean.
Yeah.
It's full of. But so you can get nice blocks of flats, like, but
Yeah.
they've been sitting there just. Oh man! And then they're going to knock down an old pub with history to throw up some.
Well, they knocked down the pub in Dordie, the Dunkhill, 197 years old, 3 years shy of being listed.
Oh.
Knocked it down. The land's been vacant for 10 years.
For
So,
fuck's sake!
you know, it was a good pub, that was, Dunkhill.
Yeah.
And now we can't call it the Dunkhill Bank anymore because it was on top of a hill.
All the pubs are
Bit of
shutting
local
down,
geography there for you people.
We're
Sorry.
losing a lot of pubs in this country, aren't we?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
Jesus.
good.
It's an epidemic. It's like
Yeah.
they drop. Well, they have been. Think back to Oh God, we got to.
But they don't want people congregating and and
Discussing, yeah.
Well, there's been lots of factors, to be honest, in this.
And
The
my
pub
protection
thing.
racket's gone right down.
They
Sick on
prefer
me.
us in little boxes,
Yeah.
all alone in little boxes, watching the TV, so we're,
Well, think about the pub thing, right?
brainwashed.
We're not that old. I was 30. Oh, it's my birthday today, dear.
Oh, happy birthday, yes.
Thank you, chaps.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Cheers, dude. 35 years old today. When I started drinking, going out drinking, 17, 18, you could literally walk out of one pub, two or three doors down was another pub.
The good old days.
Yes, and now that coincides. So basically, alcohol. We're all drinking cans here now. It is way more feasible for us on the money we're on
Yeah.
to get as shit faced as we want by buying cans, which are usually less than £1 each. It works
Bit of
out.
that, yeah.
And to drink at home, like you said, Mike. To go to the pub, where you're talking £3 at least a pint.
Yeah.
You need some serious money for a good night out, and those factors have just basically lots of things have changed. So it's economic, it's social,
Smoking ban.
smoking ban, and the pubs have they're just people. It's not as ingrained as it like.
No, it wasn't. Now it's a place you go to eat. It used to be a place where you got to get away from the fucking family and have a smoke.
Most blokes used to, I'm massively generalising now, but
Like my granddad was a miner.
well, they would go at
You know,
lunchtime, they'd go
yeah.
after work, and then they'd go. And when my first girlfriend lived in Much Wenlock, my first serious girlfriend, and I loved their way of life because they would finish work, go to the pub. Or first of all, they would put some food on, like put something in the oven.
Yeah.
Right. Go to the pub, few drinks, go back home, eat tea, then go back to the pub to finish off, and that was a weekly. It was a tiny village. They could.
Yeah.
That pub was the hub and the centre of it. Man, I love a good pub.
I love a good country pub.
Yeah, mate, with a
Pub
fire
in the
and a
country,
dog.
yeah. Beautiful, man.
There's going to be a
Open
dog
fire,
in there as
a
well.
dog running
Yeah,
man.
beer garden, like
Yeah.
by a river or something.
Friendly staff. Friendly though. Ah, man.
Good food,
Anyway, the Great
good
British
food,
Pub.
good beer.
Here's to the death of the Great British Pub. They're still
Indeed.
they're still out there. They're still. We'll keep them alive.
Yeah.
We'll
Right.
keep them alive.
What's the next? Oh wow, this. Go on, Mike. You can do this one.
Blind bisexual goose stuck in love triangle with two swans dies aged 40
Fantastic.
in the metro.
Is that a good age for a goose?
I guess. A blind bisexual goose who spent years in a love triangle with two swans raising 68 cygnets has died aged 40.
Oh man.
Thomas from Waikanae in New Zealand fell in love with a black swan named Henry and
Wow.
went on to spend the next 24 years with him.
Wow.
But things got messy when a young female swan called Henrietta swooped in and stole Henry's heart.
Aww.
Oh,
Thomas
man.
quickly became the third wheel, but instead of moving on, he decided to help the new couple raise their 68 cygnets over the next 6 years.
Oh, man. So he's a fair play.
What a cuck.
His complicated relationship made him a local celebrity, with many bird watchers spending hours watching his love life.
I bet they did.
What the actual fuck?
And I bet they were jacking off.
Were they like that bloke from last week up to their fucking
Yeah.
up to their shoulder in the back of a goose? See last week's episode for the reference. Oh man.
Oh, he eventually went on to father his own babies, but they were stolen by another goose called George. Oh, man.
This poor fucking dude. So his missus gets stolen. He helps her raise
His
her
boyfriend
baby.
gets stolen.
Oh, his boyfriend.
Yeah, his boyfriend gets on with a woman.
Right.
They have babies. He
And he
stays,
helps
looks after them. He has babies of his own.
Finally finds his own.
Yeah.
You know, babies of his own, and then some cunt called George
Yeah.
comes along.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, he was, he's 40. That's got to be good for a bird, hasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, he
Probably.
lived for corn on the cob. Apparently.
Well, I bet he loved a corn on the cob. Because it looks like a penis and he was bisexual.
Oh, Thomas will be buried next to Henry at the place they called home.
Aw. They're putting fluoride in the ponds, which has turned the frickin' ducks gay.
More on Alex Jones later.
I mean, the goose gay.
AI lawyer
Oh,
Ross
for God's
has
sake.
been hired by its first official law firm.
Will you
I
shit,
put
mate.
this on in just to piss Gaz off.
Thanks.
All right.
Every AI thing now, we're just going to bring it in. Weirdly.
AI lawyer. Is it a lawyer though? Is it? Fucking
not
hell.
quite. Law firm Baker and Hostelier has announced that they are employing IBM's AI Ross to handle their bankruptcy practice, which at the moment consists of nearly 50 lawyers.
So all them 50 lawyers who went through law school and paid their way into and through it and got into debt, and even though they chose to become lawyers, which they're not the nicest people around, they're all out of a job because some computer called Ross can do it for them.
Ross, the world's first artificially intelligent attorney, built on IBM's cognitive computer Watson, was designed to read and understand language, postulate hypotheses when asked questions, research, and then generate response to back up its conclusions.
Well, there we go.
I know,
The machines
I
are
know
coming
most
to kill
adults
us.
that can't do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but most adults are capable of emotions and.
Hang on, have you read that last sentence? Ross also learns from experience, gaining speed and knowledge the more you interact with it.
course.
Stop fucking interacting with it, then, you daft bastards.
Guys, we're going to go and visit that place with the sledgehammer.
We're writing our own death warrant.
It's Hans and then Ross. I'm
know.
taking Handstone, you can have Ross.
If they give handsome Ross legs like they give to what's her name?
Sophia.
Sophia, the one-eyed shag. She gets a break. Pardon, because she's very pretty. But Ross and the other
No,
one.
she isn't. Only in a Peter Weller Robocop style kind of way. She's got half a head.
But her face is very symmetrical and her eyes are blue. She's very pretty. In that sort of fake robot-y type sort of way.
No, she
All I'm saying to you, Ben, is I've had sex with much worse looking women than fucking Sophia. Okay? Even if she has got wires hanging out the back of her head. And some
Gives
of
me
those
something
girls
to
have
hang on to.
Even so, Gaz, I mean,
I
that's...
love the way you run your fingers through my cables.
I know you identify as a transformer.
I
but
do.
This, which, in my opinion, you can't. But
I'm sorry.
even so, this isn't good.
Ben,
That Sophia's got to
hang
go
on.
with the rest of them, man. You've got emotions get in the way of this.
Forget Sophia. People literally in the States are rioting in the streets and protesting because professors refuse to refer to them as Z, Z, Zo,
No, that's
Zohan.
the States. That's Australian or New Zealand.
Well, it's
isn't
spreading
it?
there.
One of them.
It started in the States. So they're literally protesting because it's legal in Canada. It's actual law has been changed that if I ask you to call me by a certain pronoun, You must abide by it.
All right, what's the pronoun for fucking Transformer?
Lord Megatron, obviously.
I'm not calling you Lord Megatron.
My mighty leader, and you have to say it like Starscream.
Almighty leader.
No.
I identify as a Transformer. Anyway, let's not start that round. Ross. So, I'm going to stop freaking myself out and put this in this way. Ross is simply a program, because law is a set thing, you know, so you put the laws into the computer, and then you can put in what happened, and I'm sure the computer can tell you which laws have been broken, because it's a algorithm. He's not going to... They're not better than us. They're just better at... It's Mike? Enough of the AI. Come on, tell me about him then, though, because I do need to know. Cause
that's it, really. He's going to assist with the bankruptcy part of the firm.
They're firing 50 people for him, and he's going to learn and
Imagine
become more efficient. So there we go.
Well, he's aiding the 50 people. They're not firing them to replace
getting
him.
fired by a robot, though. You get a voicemail.
Hello, it is Ross.
Oh, God.
The company computer. My algorithm states that you are the least useful member of staff. Goodbye. We
Got
wish
10
you luck in
minutes.
your future endeavors. Empty your desk or I will empty your head.
Got 10 minutes. Security will be called.
You have 10 seconds to comply.
Oh, my God. Hey, that's it. Has Ross got a new body and he is the Ed 209? He started
You
off
have
as
5
just a...
seconds to comply.
He just started off as a computer, coming on Monday, he's the Ed 209, patrolling up and down the front of the desk.
Well, he can do everything. He's an AI.
Exactly.
He can do all the jobs.
Dead or alive, here's your P45. I was leaving! Oh, man.
Yeah. So that's how it's going to go.
Oh, God. Good on you, Ross.
Back to weird news, what we got?
Thank
That's
you
it.
very
That's it
much.
for weird news.
That is it. So, let us jump to the
Fake news.
fake news.
Fake news.
So we had kind of ended about World War One when, in propaganda terms, history propaganda, sorry, said that when Erich Ludendorff, the German marshal, said that British propaganda had been instrumental in Germany's defeat. Skip to World War Two a little bit. Well, let's get the we don't need to sit here and talk about Nazi propaganda. It was really effective. Got a lot of people liking the Nazis and a lot of people not liking Jews.
Yeah.
To sum it up, pretty much.
Well, how'd you get an entire country of people to go along with you and do what they did?
It's just
So
brainwashing.
you convinced them really well, which is
Yeah.
exactly what
And
we're
of
talking
course, you burn all the books that say otherwise.
about.
Yeah, that's another. I mean, Indiana Jones saw that.
On that note, there's an excellent Iron Maiden song, Holy Smoke,
Yes.
which is literally about like, hey, you preachers and stuff used to try and burn books. Well, wouldn't it be fun if we just burnt you? And it's literally like, feed them in feet first. This is no joke. Thirsty work, making holy smoke. So yeah, I think in revenge for all the book burning, as Iron Maiden said, burn some fucking priests. Yeah, allegedly.
Or Nazis.
Priests. Why do you burn the priests?
Or Nazis
I
who
know.
were burning the books as
Well,
well.
we did hang them.
Oh, the Nazis?
Yeah.
No, but a
That's
lot of
true.
religious people have burnt a lot of books, haven't they, over the years?
Oh, yeah.
Haven't they?
Oh, indeed. Indeed. So, yeah, but
Nothing makes a statement like burning a religious book.
no, it doesn't. Yes, it does even, yeah. Yeah, the
Kind of provokes quite a few people.
yeah, the Muslims don't really like it when you get some American right-wingers sort of burning a Quran in their back garden. They don't...
Well,
Yeah.
we were speaking of Dave Gorman earlier. He pointed out something excellent on one of his shows. I was watching it. You know, people get very upset in America, quite rightly. I'm not judging you. It's up to you. If a flag gets burned or set on fire, the US flag.
Some of them do.
In the actual, there's a policy for the US flag, like sort of flag law. And in that law, it states that if your flag is sort of past its usefulness, it's become... You need to dispose of a flag, basically.
Right.
There are acceptable ways to dispose of it. One of them being burning.
All right, so if you take a really tatty flag with you,
Yeah.
it's in better days and just set fire to you,
Yeah.
just getting rid of it.
Yeah,
Just
fine.
getting rid of it.
And apparently, you're not meant to use. I don't know if this is true, but I heard that you're not meant to use the American flag for anything else.
You're
Other
not.
than the
Yeah,
flag.
Katy Perry's been in a lot of trouble
Yeah.
recently for.
You can't
You're
have
not supposed
it on
to use it
merchandise.
as garments. Well, how come nobody got upset at Apollo Creed and Rocky?
Yeah,
those,
good point.
For those
good point.
USA shorts, you know.
Although I suppose that's acceptable because I mean Apollo is like it was 4th of July,
Ah, okay.
and then obviously Rocky was fighting Drago, so I suppose it kind of acceptable then. There's
And you know, living in America.
Exactly.
Wah! Every James Bond song ever. James Bond song? James
Bond.
Brown song.
James Brown.
Chorus followed by get down.
Pretty much, yeah. Propaganda.
I love this
The thing,
podcast
the
so
thing
much.
is, Rocky 4 is propaganda. It is American
fuck me.
propaganda.
It really is. Most movies.
I
read
mean,
it-
well, Rambo was one, for God's sake. I mean, number 3 was dedicated to the brave and valiant people of Afghanistan.
Well, I read an article today that was written fairly recently about movies being used in this way, and there's an example. I thought of you actually because there's that Churchill film out at the moment.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And apparently the article was just talking about how this is the problem with quote unquote historical films made by Hollywood, is that they are a mix. They will say at the start based on true events, but blah, blah, blah. But they are a massive mix of real events and massively fictionalized parts to aid the actual story. Like apparently in this new Churchill movie, there's a scene, a very pivotal scene in the movie where he goes on the subway with the common man
I very much
on his own.
Happened,
Never happened. The article literally said this never happened. It's just a device in the story to, tell the story. But you, as someone who is not a historical, doesn't like me, for example, who doesn't have historical necessarily much knowledge, will watch this film and think, oh well, it must have. Churchill used to go on the tube like a real common man, and that's just one example, one movie. You've just thrown two from the 80s there. Let's pick an 80s action movie, and it's pretty much American foreign policy propaganda
Glorified.
of the time, isn't it?
Yeah, hate the Russians.
Yeah.
As soon as the Russians, the 90s and that, it became the Arabs.
Yes.
You know,
it is,
who-
yeah.
who-
True Lies
Yeah,
from
I
the
took-
90s.
I took,
they're
I
fighting
took
Arab.
Navy SEAls. I go back 91, Navy SEAls, Charlie Sheen.
And
I
they're
can't
always
remember who else is in that film. But it's not a bad film, but they're fighting Arabs.
And they're
That's
always
91. That's
generic Arab
course.
stuff.
World
Then-
War II, of course, fighting the Nazis.
yeah.
Well, it's never
The
like
Japanese.
they never specify. Oh, they're irate. They'll make up some bloody Arab-sounding state and just hire some vaguely brown actors.
Then you got you can put the you can like some Modern Warfare 4,
Yeah.
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 1, 2,
What
and
was
3.
that film, Sniper? That got a lot of attention, didn't it?
Is that American
Yeah.
Sniper?
Glorifying
It was
killing.
Clint Eastwood. Yeah, it's I've never
Glorifying
seen
war,
it. But
wasn't it? I've never seen it. but
Apparently
it got
he's
a lot of
just-
flack for it, didn't it?
yeah, it's quite propaganda-y.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's actually what sparked the article I was reading.
Ah.
The writing. It's from The Guardian. I'd googled propaganda in fiction, so if you want to find it, it was on the first page. And yeah, that movie, The Sniper, was the one that had sparked him to write this article, because he said it just left an incredibly bad taste in his mouth. But what's in modern movies from now? It would be your nondescript terrorist group, wouldn't it? It would be your sort of independent.
Well, I mean, look how many Afghanistan and Iraq films have come out recently. The amount of Iraq dramatisation, Iraq dramas that have come out.
Yeah.
Dramatisation of events happened, and then you've got these load of Afghanistan special forces
24,
films coming out.
remember that?
The show
TV
24,
series,
yeah.
I mean, that was blatant propaganda. I mean, I watched it, but I mean, it was blatant propaganda.
Well, I suppose even let's analyse let's take, and I haven't seen many of them, Mike, but your average Marvel movie. They're the biggest movies
At the moment,
aren't
yeah,
they?
you'd argue that.
What's the propaganda in there then? Would you say that it's
Actually,
all of it?
well, Captain America 2, we said before, it's quite a film about not letting the bad guys take over and standing up for your civil liberties and not being on databases and all
Not
that.
let them be eroded.
Yeah, and I suppose you can follow that onto number 3, where the Cap's over like, no, we can't trust people to use us. We need to decide to use ourselves in whatever situation is given it.
Yeah. Well,
Whereas Tony's like, well, no, we have to be controlled and we have to be under a badged sort of government officials kind of thing. And the Cap's obviously saying, well, no, we shouldn't.
Yeah, and James Bond films is another prime example.
Of propaganda.
Yeah.
Oh, so how so? I mean, it's.
well,
Well, there's
because
always there's
There's always an evil guy that has to be brought down.
there's an
by
evil
the-
foreigner, and
yeah.
the good old Brit has to go in there from the inside out
That's it, yeah.
and put them right,
License to Kill.
Put them right. But I was singing this the other day with the two Lego movies. So the actual Lego movie and then the Lego Batman.
I haven't
movie.
seen either of them.
Well, they're
I
surprisingly
hear they're quite good, yeah.
really, really brilliantly made animated films, but they're full. The propaganda is the same in both films. The message is exactly the same in both films, and it's not a bad message. But I was thinking on it. The message is essentially, we're no good on our own. It's much better to be part of a collective or part of a family. Basically, to be alone is to be unhappy
And ostracised from society.
To be part of. Well, think of the theme song in the Lego Movie. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Oh, right, gotcha.
And although that is a fairly nice message, I was sat there thinking, it's the same message from both films. Well, what if I'm a dude who wants to be on his own? Like, what's this
Oh, you
film?
Don't think for yourself.
Yeah, like,
what the crowd think.
yeah,
It's
it's like,
sort of almost right-wing propaganda, similar to the Nazis.
marry and reproduce
What the
is
Nazis would
essential.
use, yeah. Be part of us. If you're not part of us, then you're part of them, and that's propaganda. It's basically if you're not with us, you're with them, and we don't like you. There's more of us than there is of you. There you go.
Propaganda is to democracy what violence is to dictatorship. That's what Chomsky said.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely.
But then you go to World War II. The British had a political warfare executive office, propaganda and nothing else.
Right.
The Americans had the Office of War Information. I mean, the Nazis made propaganda films. They made a Titanic film where it was a massive budgeted thing. It cost millions of Reichsmarks, whatever they were using, Reichsmarks. And obviously the guy on board who saved the day was the cool, witched German, where all the British and the Americans were running around like headless chickens. He was the one getting people off the boat and then went down with the ship heroically and then survived and so on.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he did.
You know, so...
There's always been propaganda films on
Yeah.
both sides. You've seen The Great Dictator.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, I've seen the main speech from a Chaplin Speaks, yeah.
Yeah, that speech is amazing.
Yeah,
It is.
fucking amazing. It is.
And that isn't apparently that's not a political film, isn't it? A comedy film.
Well, it's a comedy piss take of Hitler, isn't it?
Yeah, but that speech, people that gets sampled and put into songs
yeah.
and
So
quoted,
good.
it is
So
excellent, isn't it? It's actually quite sort of goosebumpy.
Yeah,
do you know what I
it
mean?
is
It's like,
definitely. It is,
bloody
yeah.
hell. He was the world's most famous comedian. Fucking
Yeah.
telling it like it is. We're not machines. We're men. Yeah,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
speech.
And go
Look
and
it
check
up
that
if you
out.
never heard it.
Yeah, go and check it out. It's
Put in Charlie Chaplin.
Great
speech.
Dictator speech.
There you go.
Because it's the only speech he ever did. He was silent.
He was. And he also had a Hitler moustache. Did that come before or after The Great Dictator?
Before.
No, he always had the moustache, yeah.
Did you
It was
tell me
it
that
was
that's where Hitler got it
Yeah, he
from?
liked Charlie Chaplin.
it was a clone moustache. But
He
the
liked
thing is,
Charlie
it made him
Chaplin.
stand out, and Hitler had that occultist with him who said you need to stand out and that you should shave your moustache this way because it stands out. People immediately remember that. And if it's only you and Charlie Chaplin, it's not. Hey, it's like, oh, it's not Chaplin, it's the other guy. Who is it? There's only two of them. Oh, Hitler, that's him.
I know Richard Herring tried to bring it back.
Yeah.
but
Oh,
No one's ever going to bring that
No.
back. That style is dead.
Can we just say, well, I love Richard Herring. I really like him.
I've got his podcast.
Yeah, I
signed
listened
up
to
for
that.
yeah.
Hang on. The Hitler moustache is dead. Why isn't the Stalin big bushy moustache dead?
Because he's not as famous. I watched
I
Bill,
suppose so.
Bill Burr, the comedian, talking about this, and he's like, in the sort of sporting leagues of evil dictators, Stalin gets shafted because nobody really knows about him. Or, well, you guys do, you're into your history and politics, but your average person doesn't know Stalin, but they know Hitler, and he did way worse, didn't he? His numbers are a lot higher anyway, apparently.
Well, he was in
Am I
power
wrong?
for a lot longer.
Yeah, well, that's it, yeah.
But, you know, he gets...
Yeah, he did some pretty despicable things.
It's like, you know, like Liverpool fans always going on about, you know, that time years ago when they were successful. There's been lots more teams doing a lot more successful things since then. But
It's true.
yeah, I just compared Liverpool fans to Star something like that. I don't
Well,
know.
They're
Anyway.
all commie bastards.
No, the Liverpool fans were alright. They hate the
no,
sun.
no, yeah.
And the team, well, they had a good win today.
I think I was going to make a shit joke about the weather, then hating the sun, but it's gone. And it would have been shit anyway. So back to the propaganda.
And then I mean Soviet propaganda as well.
Well, they're kind of the daddies, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
One
been
of
to
them.
Berlin. We spoke of this last time. You can look at one side and you've got grey and depressing, and you can imagine there being big Soviet billboards on there at some point, and then you've got the West, which is brightly lit up.
And when Stalin spoke, the last person to
Stop clapping was usually
first person
executed.
told to stop clapping.
Yeah, first person got shot. But I mean, I think it was Khrushchev who came out and said that Stalinism was wrong, which was considered a massive thing at the time. It's just like, well, hang on, you haven't been dead that long.
Yeah.
54, something like that. I think Stalin died.
Yeah.
Khrushchev was in for the missile crisis, wasn't he? He was late 50s. I think he's actually Stalin's direct sort of successor.
I think he was, yeah.
And so for him to come out and say that was... But then
Do you know they alternate between their presidents having bald hair and having hair?
No, because Putin's not bald.
Russia.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, Putin
that
is bald, isn't he?
coincidence?
Yeah,
Or
Putin
is
is
it-
bald.
Apparently that's...
Wait, is Putin bald? I've got a memory blank.
He's half and half.
Putin,
He's balding, isn't he?
he's not bald.
Or is he
though,
shaved
Yeah.
head?
He isn't bald. The one before him, was he bald?
Well, no, because it's been him and his mate for years, hasn't it? They've just alternated
Yeah.
jobs. One's a prime minister, one's a president, and they swap over, and then they swap over again.
Yeah, well apparently from sort of, I don't know whenever, but it alternates bald hair, bald
Oh,
hair,
right.
bald hair.
That might be a job opportunity for me after all if the Soviets ever come back.
What was the one? What was the one with the big red tattoo on his head?
Gorbachev, yeah.
Gorby. Yeah.
Amazing.
They love Gorby, the Russians, apparently.
Oh, is he one of them?
He's the one that broke up the
Yeah.
Soviet Union, wasn't he?
Back in the USSR.
David Hasselhoff was parachuted into Berlin to sing.
I've seen that footage.
Literally parachuted in. I
And-
hope, anyway.
I'm gonna lose a lot of cool points, but
I've been looking for freedom. Yeah.
I know the song.
Yeah.
Well, on the
You
last
have to tell
episode,
me,
that's the song he sang.
Yeah.
David Hasselhoff is a massive star.
He
and
sang.
singer.
Yeah, they love him in
big
Germany.
He's
Yeah.
big in Germany.
Based
Yeah, oh,
purely
yeah.
on the fucking surname.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's on the wall singing this song. That is, you couldn't get more like
80s, 80s power pop.
Oh, it's very aspirational.
Yeah,
man.
it is.
Oh.
It's
And
like-
his jeans are very tight.
They are.
Hey, don't hassle the half. But,
I like the fact he's become a parody of himself
but
nowadays.
he's in on it though.
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I
the
love.
beauty of
and
it.
he's happy with it. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm making money, bitch. Most actors of my generation fade into obscurity.
I'll guarantee you, if he's not in Expendables 4.
Oh God, he's a big dude. But I watched the it's not a remake, it's sort of reboot of Baywatch starring
I've been
The
meaning
Rock.
to watch that actually.
Okay, it's a comedy. Take it as what it is.
Yeah, it's very tongue in cheek
Silly
and
comedy.
silly. Yeah.
But in the outtakes at the end, it's like David Hasselhoff sitting next to The Rock, and it's in between takes, and David Hasselhoff like looks at The Rock and like looks off to somebody off camera, and he's like, "Do I just look like a silly little bastard sat next to him?" Because he's in pretty good shape, The Rock. For that, you know,
He's
but
like
then
in his 60s, isn't he?
Anybody sits next to The Rock and it's just like, well, he's a different species. That's not fair. The bull with a human head. But yeah, the Hoff on that wall, and I mean that's a bit propaganda.
Of course
isn't
it is. It is. Here's your Western superstar coming in, but he's a bit German sounding, so it's all right.
An American with a German surname.
Well, there's a lot of Germans in America. I mean, when they passed the bill back for the independence, they had a vote on what the official language should be, and it only narrowly one has been English out of the two,
Bloody
German
hell.
or English. So
Yeah.
imagine
Wow, I didn't know that.
World War 1 and 2 if America was a German-speaking country.
But with an American accent.
Well, their whole culture would be more Germanic, wouldn't it?
I know,
We're
yeah.
Germanic.
But I was just thinking,
Yeah, but not as Germanic as Germany.
for comedy reasons, I can remember a bit of German from school, like German with an American accent. Ich heiße John Boy. Ich wohne in Texas. Ich bin ein
No, 'cause it'd be like- it'd be
35
like-
Jahre alt.
It'd be like Texas Hoffen, and he'd be like Johann Kinder.
My favourite German word is the word for ice skating. Schlittschuhlaufen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What a word.
I always like Dummkopf. Just one of the classics. You
Du
fucking-
bist ein Dumpfkopf. Yeah.
Oh, wunderbar.
Scheissekopf.
Yeah, Scheissekopf's a good one. Yeah. Fubar, it's not a German word, but kind of is.
Schnell. Hurry up.
We're going into war movies.
You see
here,
that in
though.
a lot of war
Yeah,
movies.
War movies.
Schnell, schnell.
Actually, it's something we never thought of. Actually, when we researched is war movies. That fucking propaganda.
Oh,
aren't they?
every single war movie.
I mean, the Americans never lost in Vietnam because they won every battle. It was in a war movie.
hey, Charlie don't serve, man.
Actually my favourite.
Score draw,
Vietnam
crew
movie.
cuts both sides.
Voice when
Voice
there's
of the
war.
The British didn't do anything in World War II.
Oh, according to whose propaganda?
According to Hollywood's propaganda.
Well, yeah, of course.
U-571 Bon Jovi getting his fucking... I didn't mind seeing Bon Jovi getting his head cut off, though, in all fairness.
Bon Jovi was in a movie.
Yeah.
What
But
is
was,
Bon Jovi?
but that was like a British ship that did that, and there was a single American on it. Oh, a Band of Brothers. You ever seen that show? That's really good, actually. And they refer like twice the Brits in disparaging remarks. Saving Private Ryan, they slag off Monty, who was the Brit. Oh, Monty's taking his time. And he's like, oh yeah, that guy's overrated. And you're like, what? So basically, the Americans won World War II. We were just there as bystanders.
Back to I mean,
the Patriot, Mel Gibson. We are fucking and Braveheart. Mel Gibson has a really fucking hard on for making us out to be proper Nazi bastards.
I saw the Patriot in the cinema. Yeah. There you go. Conversation killer. Yeah. I think I may have been the only one. I do remember that's the first time I'd seen like a cannonball going along and removing legs as it went.
Yeah.
First time I'd seen that sort of represented on screen. That was cool. But back to it. Sorry, I'm going to look really stupid now because I know the quote. And at the festivals, when we used to do the market store, we sold a lot of T-shirts that said "Charlie don't surf."
Yeah,
that was a popular one. Charlie, are they referring to the Vietnamese?
Yes, North Vietnamese Army and Victor Charlie Viet Cong.
Okay.
So Charlie don't surf.
Okay.
Viet Cong military. I forget the name of the alphabet, but it's every letter's got a. So my name in the phonetic alphabet is like Bravo Charlie. If you're referring to me, so. Yeah, it's
There you go. Well,
so yeah, there you go. Charlie doesn't. They called him Charlie's, and he didn't surf, and that is my favourite Vietnam film because it's not so much of a propaganda film. It's showing how fucked up it was.
Oh yeah, I think that was the idea.
The horror of it. I mean, like Platoon is kind of glorified in a way. I mean,
Platoon, man, I've seen that for years.
It's that one with Mel. I was slagging off Mel Gibson earlier, but that We Were Soldiers once is actually a really good Vietnam movie.
I'm gonna say it here.
Pretty good.
Now. I think I said it before when we maybe talked about Mad Max. I fucking love Mel Gibson. I forgive him. He didn't insult me.
I think he's all right.
Oh, I love him. He didn't insult me. I'm not Jewish or a female police officer. Sugar tits. He didn't offend me. Let him back in. Come on, he's done his time.
He did do a very good job with Hacksaw Ridge, I'll give him that.
That was brilliant.
Lethal Weapon movies.
I think, Gaz, you gotta look at nostalgia, man.
It's not nostalgic.
You know what? I've got them on my Netflix playlist. I'm gonna rewatch them. I'm gonna get back to you.
They're absolute.
And if they're not, I'm going. I think rose tinted glasses.
No, I think him sprinting up the fucking street with fucking chasing a car and. They have a very special place in my heart, those movies.
Did we do a fifth recently?
No, number 4 was in the early 2000s, I would say. And that was alright, it had Jet Li in it. Yeah. And
I don't even remember it.
I'm really too old for this shit now.
Yeah.
It was okay, but number 1 and 2, man, come on. Diplomatic immunity. It's just been revoked.
Yeah, alright, okay. I'll give you that bit. Alright, so Mike, you've got some stuff to tell us anyway.
I have fake news.
So let's go on to the fake news.
Consent.
Manufacturing of consent, which is...
#me too.
In 1988, Chomsky and another dude.
I
forget his name. They wrote a book called Manufacturing Consent, and it blew away the notion of media as a check of political power.
Wow. In other words, they're telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah. Media manufactures consent by telling us what we want to hear so we can fall in line. Democracy is staged by the help of the media that act as a propaganda machine.
And that is true, as we've said. I mean, fake news, the whole point of the episode. Most fake news is shared by Trump supporters, apparently, according to the internet algorithms.
I don't know, you might have some of it in your notes. Sigmund Freud's nephew.
Edward Bernays, yeah. Didn't you look at him then?
I did. Did we mention? I think we mentioned him last week, didn't we?
Am I jumping ahead? Did we talk about how he basically the whole reason that you think of bacon and eggs as a healthy meal
is because he got it into the American.
Yeah.
The farming association or industry was like, look, we need to shift some eggs.
Yeah.
Or bacon, or the two, and he literally used a media campaign to convince everyone. And I'm not saying it's wrong because eggs have been proven to be good for you, but the idea of bacon and eggs together for breakfast literally comes from an advertising campaign in the was it 60s?
Yeah, I haven't got the date, but it was
60s.
Yeah, I mean, you got
The
women.
same happened in this country in the
Now
80s.
to us it's tradition because when we were born it was already a thing, and our next generation of children it's already a thing. But it came from a fucking advertising company. Now that's propaganda too, isn't it?
Of course
Yeah.
it is,
I mean, they're not getting us to do something political, but they are.
They're getting us to buy a product.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not just buy it though, to actually
Yeah.
for us to believe and for it to become a tradition. Where what do you want for breakfast? Bacon and eggs.
Yeah,
It's the standard.
It's the same in this
breakfast.
country with the milk in the 80s.
Mm.
They pushed milk.
yeah.
Well, we
They
used to
wanted
drink it at school, didn't we? We had
Yeah.
it for free.
Until it was taken
Till
away
she
from
took
us.
it.
The bitch.
The fucking ding dong, the witch is dead. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you want to know the 5 filters of mass media machine?
The 5 filters.
Of the mass media machine.
Can we
Okay.
do 2 and then I have a piss break?
I like your thinking.
Well, we'll go now then for a piss break.
enough.
I like your thinking.
I
too.
like your thinking too.
Because I'd rather start and stop all the time.
The audience will never know.
Might be seamlessly edited.
Well, I can get the mouse over.
Leave this.
And back from the seamless urination break. So
They'd
Mike,
never know if we didn't tell them every
I
time.
know,
I love it
but I'd
though.
like to.
I mean, why lie to them? We're sitting here drinking beer, we're going to peel up.
Yeah.
So, the 5 filters
Of the mass media machine. So the first one is ownership.
Mhm.
Okay. Critical journalists take a back seat to the needs of corporation and profit.
Yeah,
We know
yeah.
all that, don't we?
Yeah, because the corporations own the media.
That's it.
Okay.
Advertising. The media is selling you as a product
Okay.
because they make money from the advertisers.
Of course.
So they're selling your viewing to advertisers.
Yeah, like when I go onto Facebook and the next thing I know, I've got something I've viewed on Amazon popping up there.
So
Because
what's more-
Amazon has given that to Facebook.
Yeah. So what's
So, yeah,
more
plug in
important to
that.
them, you or the advertisers?
Well, the advertisers,
Of
isn't
course.
it? Yeah. I'm a tool to be
Yeah.
throwing stuff at and make them spend my money.
On that point, I bought a set of dumbbells about 4 years ago in a brief window where I was like, I'm going to get fit.
We've all done that.
Yeah, I am still to this day
Mm.
direct adverted on sites that I go
Yeah.
on. There will be health equipment and weightlifting. That was
4 years ago.
a tragic few months of my life where I really thought I was going to do it. And did you see that brilliant? I can't remember which politician it was, but it was somebody who moaned about some seeking Muslim girls, sort of dating type thing,
No.
had been advertised to him.
Oh right, I got you. Yeah,
And
yeah.
he'd made a public complaint about it. It's a top British politician who was like, this is disgusting, and then somebody else had written underneath, I think someone needs to point out to him how the fucking advertising algorithm works, because you've clearly been doing some Googling, son.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. But,
Very clever.
well,
So they're telling us the news, but their most important thing is the advertisers.
of course.
Yeah.
The
In the New York
news,
Times, 60% is advertising, 40% news.
Wow.
That's, I assume that's probably the same for most newspapers.
I'd have
so
thought
you could look at it then quite simply as that the news outlets, be it television, newspaper, or what, are
Yeah.
essentially just vehicles for the advertising. It's not the
Yeah.
other way around.
No.
It's not the news is broken up by adverts, it's the adverts are broken
Yeah,
up by the advert.
basically,
news.
look like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you want to know who owns the media then?
Go on then.
Lizards.
Apart from lizards.
Okay.
Lizards.
In 1983, in the US, 50 companies own 90% of the news media.
Right.
Today, that has gone down to 6.
Whoa.
Wow.
I thought
General-
50 was a small
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
Christ.
General Electric, News Corp, which is our friend Murdoch, Disney, Viacom, Time Warner, and CBS own 90%.
Who was the first one? Sorry.
General Electric.
What do they want with the news? They used to make jet engines.
Well, that's what all these companies do. They
Fucking
diversify.
toasters.
They're electrical people. What do they want? Fucking.
They want us to buy more fucking cars. That's what they want. If they own a channel, how many they're going to be selling their cars, aren't they? Not going to cost them a penny to advertise.
Well,
Oh yeah.
on cars then, and it's fairly timely, is what Elon Musk has done with his by sending his Tesla car into space, as he's done at the time of recording a few days ago. Is that propaganda for his company, or is that a billionaire having a laugh?
It's the best fucking advertising you can have. It's circling the earth.
How long will that battery last in that car to keep pumping out David Bowie?
Everybody knows now that there's a Tesla car in space.
Yeah, and what if that collides with the ISS?
Apart from the flat Earth people. Oh wow, yeah.
What about the flat Earth
The
people?
flat Earth people are not having it. It's Photoshop.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
It's fake.
because there's no such thing as space travel according to them.
Well,
dumb
a lot
bastards.
of people have said
those
that.
poor dumb bastards.
But I did hear that some people do think that the whole reason Elon went to the extra trouble of putting the car on the rocket and having cameras and all that was to get those photos and to massively troll the flat Earth quote unquote community.
He has been trolling them a bit actually
Fucking
recently.
hates them.
Yeah.
Good on him. I'm glad there's a billionaire who isn't evil. But didn't he also make a massive... He sold a lot of flamethrowers the other day. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Oh, what's that all about?
Personal
How's the alternative to guns?
Normal. It's like party flamethrowers or something like
They're
that.
party flame. Oh.
They're like for like a birthday gift, they're a novelty gift. They cost like $300 each. I was thinking, oh man, I'd love a novelty flamethrower. Imagine the fun I could have with a flamethrower.
Drunk people and flamethrowers. Not a good
In
idea.
Americans and flamethrowers. No offence.
All right.
Okay.
Southern Americans and flamethrowers. You know, the ones where everyone's got a gun, or several. The gun rack has a gun rack. That kind of place. You do not want... Man, do you think you got $300 anyway?
They got no teeth. So.
Exactly.
And you know what they'll say? British people have bad teeth. Excuse me? Have you ever been to a trailer park? That's the first thing meth gets rid of is your teeth. Well, any body weight and then your teeth.
Yeah.
So, on to
the next one, Mike. Sorry.
You've been savaged by your own cat.
Yeah.
Little shit.
You've got to think for carrier bags, so you may want to move that. Because,
There's cake in there as well. Don't eat the birthday cake, Chester.
boxes and carrier bags, it looks together. So, should we go to the UK media?
Yes.
Let's go for it.
In 2015, 3 companies control 71% of newspaper circulation.
Holy shit.
6 companies own 80% of local newspapers.
Oh yeah, because I know the Shropshire Star are local newspapers, like all part of the Express and Star.
It all
and
gets
then-
filtered
But
down.
just follow the parent companies up
Yeah.
and it gets smaller and smaller, doesn't it?
2 companies own 40% of radio.
Fucking hell.
60 and 67% of digital radio.
Wow.
Yeah. Google has 88.6% of all UK web searches.
Wow. Then they control the results
Yeah.
of what you find. And nobody ever goes to page 2.
No, they don't.
Unless you're a real pervert.
I've been there. I've been to page 4.
Holy shit! And he came back alive.
Oh yeah, and without criminal conviction.
And just to show how influential they can be, in the last election, 95% of tabloid editorials were anti-Corbyn.
Wow.
95!
Yeah.
So he did
Only
pretty well.
5%, yeah. He did, against all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck
And he nearly did it, didn't he? He improved anyway.
He certainly improved.
Oh, Jeremy Corbyn. I don't know why, but I think last week it may have come up that Jeremy Corbyn had like a... I could be confusing 2 stories, but all I can remember is Jeremy Corbyn having an illuminous penis and singing the song as he got it on with his...
Diane Abbott.
Yeah. How was it? Anyway, sorry, that
So
was
going
last
through
week.
the filters, as we've had ownership and advertising,
Yep.
there's complicity. The system encourages it. Access granted to favourable journalists. And
Oh, I
those
see,
that
yeah.
challenge power are shut out.
Makes sense, yeah.
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 So, you know, if all like
If I'm writing an article about the Westminster paedophile scandal, chances I'm going to find myself out of a job as opposed to someone who's telling you what
Yeah,
wonderful people the
exactly.
Tory governments are.
But you're not going to be hired in the first place because you're only going to hire people that are either going to be right wing because that's what all the newspapers are,
Or most of them, anyway.
or most of them.
Bastards.
Yeah.
Fucking bastards.
And
Well-
then another way to do it is FLAC, They discredit sources, trash stories, and reputations. So if anyone goes against the grain, how many people are crucified, you know, in the British media? Look at Gary Lineker. Remember him?
Oh, I remember Gary.
He's started to say some stuff, hasn't he, about all these...
every now and then says something political, doesn't he?
Yeah, and immediately he's
They
jumped on
shit
by
all
the
over him,
light of
They
the
launch
sun.
him in the press.
Because isn't he a bit socialist or something?
He is, but he still has that tax haven home.
Yeah, but at least he hasn't forgotten kind of completely where he came from.
He's from
At least he's
Leicester,
speaking
well,
up
they
about these
played
things.
there.
At least he's speaking up, yes,
Yeah.
there is that.
I like Gary
He gets
Lineker.
flack for it, doesn't he? So at least...
I'll never forgive Gary, he never wrote back to me when I was a kid.
Oh.
Never forgive him for
Does
that.
that explain all the anger there?
Yeah, pretty does.
And the reggae box. Should we rename it the Gary box?
No,
No.
'cause he's still the best Match of the Day presenter.
Yeah, definitely. And he was pretty good at tap-ins.
He was.
Look at me with a football joke.
Yeah,
Hey,
hello.
that was my era. I was well into it back then.
Italian 90.
Yeah. I was 7.
Okay, the last one is enemy. So they a common boogeyman. A bit of fear helps corral public opinion.
Oh, you mean like
That's
the
where we
Muslim
get it
community?
from. Because your average person's experience with the Muslim,
Is usually taking home in a taxi or serving them food.
yeah, it's not an unpleasant thing or a victim of violence, your average person. So where does their idea that they are the bad guy come from? Well, we don't have to be fucking media
No.
professors or sociologists. We're
Well,
fucking
that's it.
3 amateur fucking podcasters who know full fucking well
Yeah.
it comes from the fucking television. I mean, you're
Yeah.
exposed to it constantly. It's where all your thoughts and
Yeah.
ideas come from.
Exactly.
Well, not
a
all.
good example is Gaddafi. I mean, in the
That was a
beginning...
very sexually rude sort of moan you made
It was
there.
because
Did the
Gaddafi-
uniform do it for you, or was it the beard?
Gaddafi was a friend of the West. for
Tony
ages.
was. I remember all that.
Yeah.
Tony was mates of him. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, he was the he was the guy we sent all our suspects off to be
Yeah.
interrogated and because we couldn't waterboard
No.
them
You
because of
sent
our
to Libya.
you know, so we sent them off to be tortured horribly in Libya, and then they gave us what they told them.
Yeah. And
So-
didn't they make him sort of...
One of the
Lockerbie
one of the boys.
Lockerbie bombings, they made him sort of take blame for that, didn't they?
I think there may have
Apparently
been
he
some.
came out later and said that they didn't do it and they made me take the blame or something.
Yeah,
we don't
well-
know how true that is.
Well, we did bomb him, so.
Well,
Yeah,
look,
but-
10 years ago, you're shaking hands
Yeah.
and posing for photos with Tony Blair. 10 years later, you're literally having a bayonet shoved into your anus by your own people
Yeah.
as you beg
Yeah.
for your fucking life. So, and
Saddam
who
as
did all
well.
that?
Saddam was
Saddam.
mates
Yeah, he was alright, wasn't
when
he?
we were fighting.
He
in
was in the
Iran.
80s when he was fighting Iran, absolutely, yeah. We were giving him loads of shit.
The Mujahideen, they were our friends when they were
Oh,
fighting Soviets.
you know, there's still a ransom for the missiles we gave, the Yanks, the Americans gave them. They're the Stinger missiles, air-to-air, ground-to-air missiles. Hold them on your shoulder, boom it off.
That are in every 80s war
They're in
movie.
every 80s war movie.
Yeah. In Commando, that woman fires it backwards.
Possibly.
The black lady.
No, they got the 4. Or
Yeah, it might have been.
no,
But
yeah, different.
here's an unrelated factoid though, but that's what we do. The movie Commando, starring Arnold,
Yeah.
the sort of mixed race lady, I don't know if that's the politically correct term that you use now. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She is the daughter of Tommy Chong of Cheech and Chong fame.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's not black, but his wife was at the time. Obviously, if anyone's confused. But yeah, anyway.
But anyway, them missiles, they gave them like a couple of hundred of them. The CIA did. These things were brand spanking fucking new. They probably haven't even been issued to US forces yet. And they went, oh yeah, them Soviet helicopters are causing some problems. Have these Stinger missiles.
Yeah.
They reckon there's about 150 unaccounted for. I think the reward was about 50 million last time.
Shit.
I heard.
What did you... The Mujahideen?
Yeah, they were.
I haven't heard that name for a long time. Is that who like everyone was fighting in the 80s?
Yeah,
That's who Rambo
Rambo
fought.
3 fought
Yeah.
with a Mujahideen. He was fighting the Soviets who were invading Afghanistan.
Okay.
And then the film was dedicated to them.
Yeah, they were our friends.
They were our mates.
And we
'cause
gave
they were
them
fighting.
training and weapons, and then they
Yeah,
turned
we had
into ISIS.
we had the SAS train them. The Americans had their special forces train them, and then they ended up being the Taliban, and then they ended up being ISIS because they passed that training on to the next generation of guys who've had their homes bombed by.
Yeah,
by the
all
West.
the bad shit
Yeah.
going on in the world, you can trace it back to our actions, pretty much.
Well, yeah. And Rambo 3, sorry, that's the one where Sylvester Stallone uses gunpowder and
That's
fire to seal his wound.
That's it.
And he makes the same noise that he makes when Mickey dies in Rocky 3.
Well, he's a very one-dimensional actor, Stallone, but my God, he gets results.
Fuck, I love Sylvester Stallone.
He's no Arnie.
Oh, wow.
No, he's no Arnie.
Nobody. Who is, though? Who is?
He's A-list. Don't get me wrong, there's two A-list
Oh, yeah.
action stars, there's Stallone and the Schwarzenegger. That's in no particular order. That's just the way I pronounce the names.
Yes.
But then you go to your lesser extent to your...
Well,
in the back in the day, it was your Van Damme and your Seagal. And
I think the difference between
nowadays,
Stallone
you've got
and...
like, your Statham, he's B-list. He's a B action star.
Well, your
You know?
Schwarzenegger and your Stallone, it's a bit like the Beatles and the Stones. Schwarzenegger, yes, he was the man. But Stallone was actually writing, producing,
Yeah.
directing. Arnold just turned up, said the cool shit and looked amazing. So, yeah, but love them both. There's room for both in this world.
There is. Let's
Always has
not
been.
have the debate.
Always will be. No,
Yeah.
it's
Just
an unnecessary
enjoy them
conversation.
both. It's like the Messi Ronaldo thing. Who's better? Who gives a
cares?
shit? Let's feel
Yeah,
blessed. We live in a
that's it.
time where we can watch both.
Now that's an attitude I can get behind.
Yeah.
What's in the box?
Snapchat filters.
So it's a reference to Ben's reggae box, which is where he puts everything he hates.
Oh yes.
Are we going to do a little thing about that, are we?
I think it should
Yeah.
become a weekly.
I think so.
Come in next week, then I'll explain to you why I hate Snapchat filters.
Okie dokie.
Love it. Okay, should we get back to this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we learn how the media set the agenda?
Let's do that.
By the selection of topics.
Yeah, because I mean I don't know anything about the war in Syria at the moment, but I know that.
Not the news much, is it?
No, it isn't, because we got RAF guys out there bombing stuff, and I don't know nothing about that. But I know that England beat Wales in the rugby.
Oh, that's a big news story, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Well, we have touched on this before. Where, basically, when there's some sort of massive celebrity scandal, something that really is shoved down everybody's throats and gets everybody gossiping, it usually coincides with some sort of military action.
It does.
Oh yeah.
Which isn't reported. And once again, this isn't fucking conspiracy theory. This
No.
is like you can see it in action.
Yeah. I got some evidence later and we'll prove it.
Okay.
They also use emphasis, so they emphasise on the bits that they want to talk about.
Right.
So an article might be like 50-50 sort of positive negative, but they might only choose to emphasise on the positive.
Or you
negative.
have their point of
Yeah.
view at the top in big bold
That's it.
black letters. Like, oh yeah, yes gave Johnny Taliban a pounding today,
That's it.
right,
Yeah.
in big letters, and and then it'll be like, and then the bad news will be sort of in the middle,
Few
3/4
civilians died.
down, a couple of people died,
Yeah.
and then if there was a British casualty, that would be in big headlines,
Yeah, but if any
But
local civilians, that would be
yeah.
at the bottom.
Oh yeah, like if 50 civilians died because a bomb fell
Yeah.
in the wrong building, then
Yeah,
they're
what do you say about that?
it'll be like, also 50 civilians died when a bomb was misdirected onto a building, and that would be, so yeah.
Framing of issues, that's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Filter. Oh, go on.
oh, sorry, I was going to say in the. I've heard Joe Rogan talk about this. Is that in the we won't know because we're here in the UK, but in the States apparently he's sort of done an experiment with himself that you can flick between Fox and CNN
Yeah.
and see them discussing the same issue in two completely different ways,
Different
with two
audience,
completely
yeah.
different spins, which he then says gives you all the evidence you fucking need to know that, well, this is
Yeah.
clearly bollocks. The actual
Have you seen
truth
that
of
documentary?
factual
Yeah.
matter isn't being reported, it's spin and
Yeah.
opinion.
Have you seen that documentary? I think it's called Outfoxed or something. It's about Fox News.
Yeah, no, I
How
haven't.
much of a propaganda machine it is, and it basically debunks the whole thing. The whole Fox News as a news corporation. It's
Well-
just an advertising machine.
You know the guy who, I don't know his name, but you might know him as an American politician, the one who's very much against, and he's the one stopping the massive marijuana legalization momentum.
Oh, that fucking.
Do you know what
Jeff
he's?
Sessions.
That's
What a
it.
twat.
Do you know what he's tried linking it to now? You know there's an opiate epidemic
Mm.
which comes from prescription drugs.
Mm.
He is now trying to claim that marijuana is the gateway into those painkiller addictions.
No,
not your
that's-
fucking doctor.
That's not having a healthcare crisis and people just doping themselves up on
the
the
government, more importantly, the government being practically owned by the
Well,
pharmaceutical
it's down
industry.
to doctors oversubscribing very, very powerful opiate-based painkillers willy-nilly because they have a certain amount to get rid of. They have a quota. It's all about money, but then these people either trying to get off it or can't get another prescription because they're like, oh, well, you're addicted, we're not giving you anymore, and are then forced onto street heroin and street opiates. Nothing to do with marijuana. And the only reason they're trying to fight against marijuana is the damage it will do to the pharmaceutical business. And they know that. It's not a health thing. He doesn't truly believe. If he does, he's a moron and shouldn't be allowed. He shouldn't have a driving license.
The Trump cabinet. They're all morons.
No, but I
They're
don't
all
think.
morons,
I know them,
guys.
but do you get what I mean? He's not so stupid.
Oh yeah, oh no,
that
he's
he can
protecting.
actually-
He's protecting his interests. I
Yeah.
see what you mean, but they're still all morons.
That
Yeah,
protects his narrative.
Yeah.
You know,
Isn't hemp a more efficient building source than timber as well?
That you can make clothing, you can make a sort of chipboard type construction material, you can burn the fuel from the seeds.
You can smoke it.
The first written word, I think, was written on hemp paper.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
If I wear hemp clothing, if I sweat, will the hemp seep into my skin and get me?
There's no THC in the hemp clothing, man.
Oh.
But also, I believe the
That's a shame.
first ships...
They should do that.
Ships that sailed the world and discovered America and all that sort of thing, they would have had hemp ropes and hemp sails
Yeah, they
because
did.
they
Yeah, I
lasted
know
in
that.
the
Yeah.
salt.
Yeah.
They could survive
So
the
was
salt
it-
water
And they will be picked
atmosphere.
apart again by orphans and
so was it the
reused.
cotton industry or something?
Something,
It was,
the
it was
paper
the
mills.
timber industry and the paper mills. Yeah.
Because for
Again.
marijuana, it was the alcohol companies.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't want
And now-
this thing that people could grow, which was, you know, a direct rival to alcohol. So they said that the Mexicans are bringing it in, and it was making you into a murderer.
And I don't think we have, this problem is not as rampant in the UK as it seems to be in America because we have the NHS.
At the moment.
And it's not just painkillers, the opiate epidemic. There's sort of think of all the people. Essentially, the point I'm trying to make is who instead of having the prescribed antidepressant or Adderall, and which is basically speed, all these things, instead of that, they just like their nice marijuana cigarettes at the end of the day, like us three gentlemen here do.
Yeah.
That is someone who isn't spending fucking money on your government-sponsored, sanctioned fucking product. It's so wrong. And, you know, all these children whose seizures can be stopped. I mean, videos, I'm bombarded with
I've
videos
seen
on
them, mate. They're
Facebook.
horrific, aren't they?
But they could be stuck with this hemp oil and think. But that doesn't suit them. It's like, no, you buy into our health system, you buy these fucking drugs.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
And this all ties into exactly what we're talking about and you know, people like, we know from experience, we're marijuana users. But my mum, for example, let's say, she watches the news and gets all her information from the television. She still has her doubts. Still, even though I've been using it for years and I've never lost a job and, you know, still has her doubts in her mind that it's not, it's
But
drugs.
I bet she likes a glass of sherry. Or
Oh,
something.
fuck me, she loves a glass of booze before bed, bless her. But
What's
it's
the
all
difference?
propaganda. It's all she's been programmed and
of
told
course.
this information.
That's it. That's the way they
See,
do it.
I mean, it's alright. Let's talk about. I really dislike the anti-vax movement. It's a very similar thing. I really dislike it, and to the point where if anyone I know shares an anti-vax or anything remotely similar, I will immediately call them a fucking wanker and say,
I will
"Stop
play
pissing
devil's
about."
advocate here. And
I
I'll
know
say-
you are, yeah.
and
I
I
know
will
you're gonna.
say-
I know what you're gonna hit me with because you've done this before. So,
I won't bother then.
I'm interested here because I think my stance might be similar to your. Mine might be right in the middle. I think I'm on the fence with that one. I don't think I know. Well, I'll tell you, I know I haven't got enough information to
No,
have
that's
an
it.
opinion
That's it.
on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I'm about to say that. How does he know that there isn't?
because
something
I'm listening to fucking professional people. I'm not
Yeah.
listening to Jenny McCarthy, who's
Yeah.
gonna tits out in Playboy.
Hey,
Right.
What about
nothing
Robert
wrong
De
with
Niro?
that.
Robert De Niro, yeah, all right, great. I love Robert De Niro. He's a fantastic actor, but he's not a fucking doctor.
No, he's not saying-
Look at polio,
Yeah.
it's gone. Look at measles, it was reduced. Now it's on the up because these dumb fucks aren't vaccinating their kids. You're killing your own fucking children.
Yeah, but he's saying that he thinks that there's a direct correlation between his son's autism.
Autism happens. It's one of them things.
You don't know though, do you?
But what I would say is,
Well, yeah, we do. I mean, we all put it on the fucking scale somewhere.
Look,
Well, yeah, that's true.
in
yeah.
principle, obviously I can see that if they're saying this vaccine will stop you or your child from getting this disease, I could understand that being a good thing. But then I could also put on my tinfoil hat. Well, not even my
No, it
tinfoil
isn't,
hat.
Gaz, 'cause it's
But
been
I could
in
also
the
say
past.
I don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck that is. I have
You can
no
find
idea.
out
I'm
what it
putting
is,
my
though.
complete faith in you.
Yeah, but Ben,
to
you're
put
listening
that
to
in me.
doctors that are being paid by the drug
Our
corporations.
doctors aren't. Our British doctors aren't getting paid by them. Fuck's sake.
Well, I was on about in America.
Good, but it's starting to spread over to here now.
But even our doctors, though, let's say they're not paid to do that, but they are still
Yeah.
taking it on.
What about the Hippocratic Oath?
Well, what about Harold Shipman?
I'll say.
He was doing his bit for the NHS, didn't he, the elderly population?
But you know what I mean? Like, okay,
Yeah.
they might not be being paid the British doctor, but the
Yeah,
British
but
doctor
that-
is still
yeah, he'll
being
get a
given
letter.
those drugs
Yeah.
and told this is the drug
Yeah.
you push.
And you don't think that one doctor, or even a group of doctors, will come out and say, you know what, that ain't great. All they've ever had is one report that was immediately
about
discredited by the British
sure they've
Medical
had
Association.
more.
No,
Because all the
there's
doctors
one
that
report.
do speak out about it are disappeared.
Right, yeah, of course. Yeah.
no.
Either way, I think that's misinformation on a scale that affects us as a species.
I think it's very complicated.
yeah.
You know, we
It
have
is
to
very
look.
complicated.
Thing is, we have to look towards science as the future,
Yeah.
right, to maintain the survival of the species. And if you've got people who have like no experience in medicine, I mean, doctors study for like 10 years to even get into
7.
a hospital, or whatever. It's a long time. It's a long fucking time and a lot of money. And they are effectively the most important person in society, because if you get sick, no one else knows what the shit to do to you.
Yeah, but Ben, they don't know what every drug does. They just
No.
get told from above.
They're
No, but
told
even
what
so, but
to
these
prescribe.
things have been through trials. I mean, the amount
Yeah.
of stuff in them is
What, you trying to tell
negligible.
me things haven't in trials in the past?
No,
haven't
I'm not saying that. And my God, we've seen enough streamed football to see American drug adverts where it tells us, if you experience these side effects, just taking it, you're like, shit, should I be taking that at all?
That's what I mean.
And like,
But
have you
I
seen the
expect a
Ameri-
better standard from the NHS, so everything's come through and been tested. Because I mean, I think the NHS started giving out drugs that started giving people liver cancer or something.
Here we go.
I
then.
mean, it
just
hasn't
wouldn't-
before.
Just before I forget, it's
It has
I
happened
don't
before.
know
Formaldehyde obviously was
Yeah,
not
I don't
a
know
good
if they
thing.
have, but I bet you can go through hundreds of different drugs in the past that have been taken off because they've been had bad side effects.
We should go back to the old days when these doctors used to prescribe opiates.
And
Here's some
cigarettes.
lithium. Here's some lithium and some fags.
Well,
there you
Go
go.
back to trepanning. That's what we need to do.
I'm going back to lithium and fags. You go back to tram.
Well, this is on point to the subject, and it's very current this week, and it involves the NHS. I don't know the number, but there was in the UK the week just gone a massive protest on the streets, wasn't it? In support.
Yeah, I think it was
Of the
60,000
NHS.
people, something like that.
In support of
Yeah.
the NHS.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump tweets images of this protest and says that it's an anti-NHS
Oh,
protest.
fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Right? He's then corrected by many people. Apparently our health secretary or somebody like that. who
Even
everyone-
Jeremy Hunt said,
well,
no,
it's
this
somebody
is
who
bull.
everyone hates, but
Yeah.
now his approval points have gone up because they've tweeted Trump like, you fucking cockhole.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But despite the fact that he's been corrected, he has not tweeted a
Well, he won't.
redaction
No.
or
Yeah,
a...
he won't.
So,
Because it's out there now.
exactly. So,
No, it
but
doesn't fit Trump's
so how
narrative.
many Americans are out there now, though, going,
Yeah.
the goddamn NHS in the UK, they're protesting in the streets, it doesn't work because of that one fucking tweet they saw.
Goes back to perception is reality.
Boom.
Whatever you perceive is your
Perception,
reality.
deception, Saint Ike.
Yeah.
Yep.
It has been mentioned for a while.
On
hasn't
Mr. Ike, I was waiting to bring this up. I didn't need to make notes on this because I know this
Yeah.
bit. One of the ways Mr. Ike got me into him before I quite realised the depths of insanity. Allegedly. Love you, Saint Ike. I saw him do a documentary where he put it in such a simple way, and I don't think these are his ideas. He might have got them from somewhere else, but I'm like, wow. So he stood in front of the Houses of Parliament, and he's on the bit of grass where all the news reporters do their...
Yeah, Parliament
You know,
Square. Yeah.
Yeah, they have their back to Parliament, and the camera's there. he essentially said, all your information comes from this man standing here, telling it to you like it's factual. He said, all that man is a repeater. He goes over to there and he points to the Houses of Parliament and he's told from them what the story is and what the message is. He then turns to you, to camera, and repeats it as if it is fact.
Yeah.
And then you absorb that. And all he is doing is repeating, but we trust these sources as if, well, I was going to say gospel. We don't think it's gospel, do we?
Well, we don't, but a lot of people do.
Yeah, but a lot of people do sit there with ITN News, BBC News, whatever the nightly news is on, whatever channel, Channel 4, Sky, whatever they're watching. Essentially, these men in the shirt and ties,
absolutely.
who we trust, they're repeaters, he calls them.
Remember.
They're just
repeaters. Their name, reporters, is self-explanatory, isn't it? They are reporting on what they've been told.
On what they have been told.
It's like if I said to Mike, go and tell Gaz this, and you're popped into Wellington and tell Gaz this, he's only reporting for me. You're nothing but an errand boy, essentially, as a reporter.
I remember as a kid, I asked my dad, why do you watch the news? And he said, because I want to know what's going on in the world. That was his answer.
And now, it's an admirable answer.
Yeah, but he
nowadays
doesn't know what's going on in the world. He knows what they want him to know about what's going on in the world. Why is
exactly
it,
how it works,
look at all the tragedies that go on in this country. The disabled are being fucking persecuted. Why is that not front page news every day?
Because the same people that own the press are in...
It's multi-layered as well, though, isn't it? Because there's an even darker element to it. Yes, they're controlling the message and the narrative, but they're also trying to sell fucking newspapers.
And turning people against the very people who are being discriminated against with the cuts and things like that.
Shall I say what Chomsky says about it?
Go on then.
We live entangled in webs of endless deceit. We live in a highly indoctrinated society where elementary truths are easily buried.
Yeah.
Sums it up.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I hesitate to talk about this in case there is something quite wrong with me, but I haven't been to a doctor in 10 years. Okay. Now, I do realise that before I'm 40, I'm 35 today, it might be advisable for me just to go and have a little MOT checkup. But I haven't been in 10 years. Now, my point is, I guess, in those 10 years, yes, I've been ill. I've had pain. I've had infected wounds at one time, or wounded. And I've dealt with all those things with ibuprofen, alcohol, cannabis, and some Class A's.
Only some.
And I am adamant, I'm sure if I had have been to a doctor in the last 10 years, I would have been prescribed all sorts of things, told you need to do this, blah, 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 but I haven't. And I feel okay. Now, this could turn out to be a massive tactical error. I could have some sort of illness that's easily curable that I don't know about that's killing me slowly from the inside. But I feel okay. So my point is, like, why is...
I don't know, but let me tell you this. If you go to the doctor at 40, you're going to lose your anal virginity.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware of that, yeah.
I've already had it done. Believe me, not a pleasant experience. Confirm
prostate.
my sexuality for me. Wow, that really was not pleasant.
Apparently the man's G-spot's meant to be in his balls.
It's meant to be, but it wasn't a pleasant experience for me, let's put it that way.
Do you know what? I'll tell you her name off air, Ben, because we know her. This happened when I was 15. She was very ahead of her time. I was receiving oral sex from this young lady, age 15, and thinking, well, this is the most wonderful thing in the universe. And, like, now I know
I still think it is now.
Yes. She then, age 15, suggested to me that she might put a finger up my bum. And I said to her, why? And she said, what you've just said. Well, apparently that's where the male G-spot is. And 15-year-old me looked at her and said, my G-spot is fucking hanging from the middle of my fucking torso. Trust me, we don't need to go exploring for it. But she was ahead of her time, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I'll tell you the name of her.
Thank you. I'm intrigued to know.
Anyway, she's out there somewhere, and I salute you. But I didn't let her do it. But anyway, Anyway, that went down a dark hole. Hey! Give us some Chomsky, Mike, please.
Give us some Chomsky, raise the tone.
First of all, he deserves the king of puns.
He does, actually.
We
You get the crown of puns, sir.
And it's
There
my
you go.
birthday. Hey!
And now we're going to talk about genocide.
Oh, for God's sake. Can I have a piss for genocide?
Yeah.
This is the second time I've said it, just for pause, but I fucking love this podcast.
I just want to finish making the points on how they set the agenda.
Okay.
Well, we're recording now.
Yeah, we did a selection of topics, emphasis, framing of issues and filtering of information. They also bound the debate within certain limits.
Is that like question time, having like
It's
a
like-
pro-Tory
yeah.
audience kind
Yeah,
of thing?
basically. It's like before Corbyn, we had the Tory party or the centrist Labour Party, you know what I mean?
Gotcha, yeah.
And they would only have that debate in between them two.
Yeah.
Anything to the extreme of either of them
Was
they
not.
would- yeah, it was
yeah.
not. Oh, it's not mainstream politics if we won't talk about it. It changed obviously because
Yeah.
Corbyn and UKIP changed everything really in this country.
Sadly, for UKIP.
I know, yeah, we might say sadly, because they don't, it is sad because we don't agree with their views, but the fact that they're part of the discussion, I can't believe I'm saying this, is possibly a good thing.
Well,
Well, it is to a point, but
Do you know what I'm
Chomsky said, if we don't believe in freedom of expression for people we despise, we don't believe in it at all.
Yeah, but I'd argue that some people have views that are too.
I do agree in this country we have hate laws.
Yeah, we
So
do. Yeah.
if anyone speaking causes somebody to go and do some violence on somebody else, that is against the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In America, they don't have it. I'd rather have that hate law.
Yeah, so would I.
No, but this is where, it's
Well,
dodgy, but it keeps
yeah.
coming up me talking about it. But in America, with what's happening now, is the alt-right, they're not Nazis, they're not even far-right.
But some of them are.
Well, you'll get that in. So you
It's just
can't
a
really.
PR name, Gaz. I mean, it's still.
It's a PR name, but they're not the far. You are allowed to be a conservative.
Making it
Right.
alt-right is just making it a bit more acceptable for someone that's
No.
got. Oh, I don't like Indians very much,
No,
so
no,
I'm going to
no.
go.
I
I'm the
think-
alt-right,
I
and,
honestly
and then
think-
but that's a gateway then.
No, but I honestly think the alt-right is it's. So I have heard it said it's just a media creation, to be honest. But to me, it's younger conservatives, right? So it's not your old guard of Republicans in America. It's younger people who are a bit more liberal and a bit more open-minded. But this is where what you've just said, where it ties in. The SJWs are not allowing these people to speak. They're calling their opposing ideas hate speech because they're maybe not wanting to use the pronouns, prefixes that the transgender people. So essentially, an alt-right person turns up to do a speech. The SJWs protest and shut down that speech because they are calling it hate speech. But it's not hate speech. It's just an opposing opinion. It's an opposing. So,
Right.
They should
so
be able to
you
speak then. They should be able to speak.
Yes.
But that's at
is
the
what I'm
lesser
saying.
end of it, though.
But
That's at the lesser end. That might be just someone who's a bit anti-abortion, and then all of a sudden you get rainbow-haired people turning up and saying, "No, that's wrong." But the ones who are saying about white supremacy and marching with torches
yeah, but they're not.
and hang black men, and we should get the KKK back. They're the people you've got to look out for.
Yes,
Sadly,
and
it's all
they're-
lumped together.
And that is hate speech.
Yeah, it
isn't
is, and that's the problem
And
with
that's
the left.
against
Is
the
it
law.
can't get its act together.
That's the
and
problem.
decide-
See, that's the thing. The left is eating itself. It's destroying free speech. It's destroying liberty because they're essentially this sort of a whole generation who's like, no, you don't have a right to speak here because it's hate speech. But I heard an amazing quote, and what's sad is it's from a fucking stand-up comedian, Stephen Crowder, but it was amazing. I will link you guys. There's an amazing video called "The Triggering of UMass University." Yeah. It was supposed to be a speech with Milo, you know him, yelling up blah blah blah. A feminist from the 60s who's now quite an older woman, and this comedian Stephen Crowder, who is a conservative stroke alt-right, whatever you want to call them. Christian conservative comedian.
You can't have a Christian conservative comedian.
Yes, you can, and he's allowed his fucking opinions. He's not forcing down anyone's
It's like Christian rock, Gaz. It sucks.
No, but he came out with an amazing quote. He fucking roasted this audience because they would not let these people speak. they just sat there in the audience saying, "Fuck you! You're not welcome here! Fuck your hate
I see
speech!
that.
Fuck your hate speech!" And he said right at the end, the only fucking diversity that you guys are opposed to is intellectual diversity. Because you're absolutely fucking terrified of someone having an opposing opinion and listening to that opposing opinion and then debating it like fucking adults.
Yeah, he's got a point.
He does have a point. Yeah,
no,
he
I'm
does.
not saying I'm scared that on this pod
It sounds to me like they're
But that's the
They get
extreme left,
confused
though, isn't it? That's
Yes.
that's not us guys sat here.
no.
It were kind of. Well, you're quite to the left, Mike. You're more
But it's
liberal
not extreme. None of
than.
us
But
are
you're
extreme
not
anything.
dyeing your hair in rainbow colours and demanding that we call you a zer or whatever.
And these
the hell it
guys
is.
trying to talk are
I
not
want to
extreme
get rid of
right.
all powers of control and
You're-
coercion, but that's just something else we're going
You're just a crypto communist,
And
crypto
these-
Marxist.
Marxist.
But the Christian comedian, he's not extreme right
I think-
either. He's just right.
I think what these people are getting confused is the difference between hate speech and your feelings
And
being hurt.
opposing.
Yeah,
Yes!
an opposing opinion.
Yes,
That's it.
you are allowed an opposing, and if you don't allow that opposing, and I'm sure that's what that Chomsky quote
Yeah,
was
Chomsky got
just
into
saying.
trouble because he defended a Frenchman's right to say that the Holocaust didn't exist.
Right.
Now he got fucking bombarded by people saying, "What are you
Yeah.
doing? Sticking up for this guy who says that?" And he says, "Well, look, he's got a right to opinion. I don't believe in it. I think if you look at the evidence, it's overwhelmingly the case that they existed, but he's got a right to say
But isn't that just
Otherwise-
damaging? But isn't that damaging to history?
Well, yeah, but
To have that guy say that
and then
and-
it's Chomsky's job. He says,
What's
"It's
the
our job."
alternative? Silence that man.
Yeah, it's our job.
Yes,
it's our
with a
job.
bullet to the head.
No, it's our job. It's our job to debate him.
Yeah.
And prove
But he
he's
can't
wrong.
be debated. It's like the flat Earth people. They can't be debated because everything they can. Well, that's just your opinion. This is
Yeah.
fake.
Well,
that's
but
fake. That's all they
Ben's
can.
got a
They
point there,
can't
'cause
throw
it's
at you
extreme.
any.
I mean,
That is
flat
true.
Earth. I mean,
That's
I've
a
debated.
special
I've
case,
spoken to a Holocaust denier, and I had the impression that everything I was telling her, that it was historical fact, was completely new to her.
Well, it
And
very probably was.
it probably was. But this is my point. You can't debate with some people. You just can't. I mean, I've watched the clip of Dawkins debating the creationist woman many times, and he's like, well, there's a lot of evidence for fossils in the fossil records, so therefore evolution, bloody, a very simplified version, evolution, fossil record. And she turns around and goes, but that's not really evidence. You're not showing me any evidence. And he just kind of looks at her with this bemused look on her face. And I've just told you about the fossil record. That's the kind of stupidity you're dealing with.
It does bring to mind the quote, and I have no idea who this quote is from, but somebody in time and history. A wise man never argues with fools.
Exactly. I'll give you an adapted quote on that. It's like playing chess with a pigeon. Right? You can beat the pigeon quite comfortably, but at the end of the day, it's going to get up on the board,
not
knock
much
the
of an
pieces
achievement,
over,
is it?
take a shit, and strut around like it's won.
Yeah. That's very
that's very good, isn't it? Yeah, like
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
But
that is what you're dealing with your flat earth, your anti-evolutionist, your anti-vax. You can throw every single convincing argument, scientifically proven argument to these people, and they will turn around and go, nope,
course.
bullshit.
yeah, and I'd just like to clarify.
Do they deserve a point?
Yeah, but
Do they deserve a say?
Maybe.
Do they deserve media attention?
maybe not media attention, but I just want to clarify before we move on because I do bring it up a lot because it's one of the few things I'm following, and it's happening in America, not here. I am not an alt-right supporter. I am not alt-right at all. I'm quite a liberal dude. What I can't stand is the left,
hypocrisy.
yes, acting like fascists and not letting these people speak. You can't do that. You have to
Let them speak. Let them do their hate
Protest
speech,
it by all
and
means.
then
and disagree with them.
let them do their hate speech, and then punch
But
them.
if it's not hate speech, though, they're not breaking any
No,
laws.
that's it.
And you don't have a right to
No.
tell them you.
No.
It's you hit the fucking nail on the head, Mike.
But
Feelings getting hurt.
if you're turning up in a white sheet and saying that black men should be
that's
hung,
different.
then sort it out.
That's
and
very-
sort them the shit out.
That's very different. Yes, and I agree. But I just wanted
But
to
they've
make that
replaced
clear.
the white sheets with business suits now.
Yes, and shitty flame torches from B&Q.
And white polo shirts was
I
that.
do not support them at all, but a conservative fucking speaker should be allowed to go to a university of all fucking places
Of course.
and have a
Yeah.
right to say his speak and then debate him afterwards.
Yeah.
Don't sit in that audience
Yeah.
screaming.
I
at him.
agree. Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
A university is a place for
protest
thought.
outside. You've got a right to protest.
Yeah,
Nothing
protest
wrong with
outside. Heckle those who go in. Whatever. But yeah, a university of all places, which is, if nothing else, a compendium for rational
Should
thought,
be, shouldn't it?
for free thinking.
And it goes back to
Because
what.
at the end of the day, them people are the future. Whoever goes to university are the future of the country. They're
Jesus.
doctors, they're nurses, they're scientists, they're whoever they're future managers, whoever. They've got degrees. They're going to go up that ladder. They
They
need
can't
to,
handle an opposing opinion.
and they can't handle an opposing opinion.
Yeah.
But how many of them? That I'm going to assume they were. Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to assume that a lot of
Don't
them were
assume
just.
anything, Ben. Don't assume anything.
No, I'd never assume anything because it makes an ass out of
you and me. Yes, a teacher wrote that on a board once.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's clever.
Yeah, I actually read it in. I think it was Red Dragon,
okay.
where the Jack Crawford was explained to a. Oh no, it was Silence of the Lambs. Jack Crawford was explained to a very young Clarice Starling. Never assume, but let's assume, just hypothetically assume,
Yes.
that the origins for that was a bunch of rainbow-haired, easily triggered kind of people,
There were some very gender
Yeah.
fluid people
Yeah.
in the audience.
and they do tend to get a bit uppity,
Oh, extremely. They were just.
excitable might be a better word.
It was to
Do you
the
think
point.
that, like in the apocalypse, like they'll form their own tribe, and they'll
Well,
just start firing AKs into the
They'll be
air every
fu-
time something says something?
But they're turning on themselves now. Their liberalism has gone so fascistic, in my opinion. They're turning on themselves now. Of like, you didn't support that hate. Like, and the worst is, they're all white. I watched a video where they were attacking this a lecturer called Jordan Peterson, who's become quite famous in the last few weeks or months, and I really like the guy. He's caused a lot of controversy in Canada because they've made it law in Canada that he has to recognise, well, not just him personally, these new gender pronouns legally have to be recognised.
I don't even know any of them. in
Well,
all
and he's
fairness.
a professor, just a normal professor at a university, and he's refused to. He says that you forcing him to use those pronouns, he compared it to Chairman Mao or something like that.
Yeah.
Huge controversy. He's now world famous. He's been labelled as a right wing, as
Wow.
anti-transgender people, anti-gay, anti-feminism, blah blah blah. He's just He's a clinical psychologist. He's quite liberal. He's just basically
Well, then
saying, no,
again-
I refuse to be dictated to about
Why
language
can't you just call
changes.
people by their name though?
If you
What's
come
wrong
out in
with
the
that?
public though and you do take a side like that, then you are open to
Oh,
criticism.
definitely. But just before I forget, so there's a video of him outside a lecture, and people are mass protesting his lectures and all this stuff. Somebody who I know is white from what he said to her, I can't see her, the person holding the camera, goes up to him. He's just stood outside chatting to some students, minding his own business. They go up to him and they just start bombarding him. Question after question, not letting him speak. First of all, he's obviously addresses a male behind the camera and says, "Would you let me talk to her? Stop interrupting and let me talk to her." The lady, sorry, no offence, holding the camera says, "Don't call me that." As in, don't call her her.
Right.
So he rolls his eyes and he's kind of like, Jesus. And it goes on, she's like, "You're against people of colour." And then 3 students of sort of, I would say, Mexican or, they're not white.
Hispanic.
Yeah, they're not white people. Start looking at her in the camera going, "Hey, we're people of colour. And we're telling you, this dude's alright."
Yeah.
She blanks it
Oh, she
completely.
loves it.
Because it doesn't fit her.
Yeah.
What she wants her
Narrative.
Well, you've got to
narrative.
keep,
Yeah,
I think what we can put is it's all right to be a liberal. Right?
definitely.
It's all right to be centre, and to a point, it's okay to be slightly towards the right. You know, to a point.
I'm
When
conservative
when you get to extreme right,
I
that
disagree
becomes a
with
extreme
but
anything.
sometimes you need to mash all that into one kind of sentence and get rid of stuff that's no good, and from both sides,
Yeah.
and put it the best ideas into one sort of collective middle pot,
Bang.
and just go for it.
Because I think
Yeah,
we
but
touched on
then
this.
we get New Labour.
But as
I
you
think-
said before, we were growing up under New Labour. We had, the economy was booming. I mean, things are pretty good. You had Cool Britannia. We could walk out of a job on a Friday and into another.
Union Jack guitars.
Union Jack guitars. Union Jack dresses from the Spice
We were
Girls.
still slaves of the state.
We were still slaves of the state,
Yeah,
but we had a bit more, didn't we?
I think
we had,
I touched-
and we had a better NHS then than we have now.
Well, I
So-
think I touched on this last week. Don't you
And barring
find?
a couple of wars, we were pretty steady.
Don't you find though? The
We
three
were
of
never
us sit
reaping
here,
what we sowed.
you'd say you are liberal, and I'd say you're fairly left as
I'm
well.
central left, maybe.
But wouldn't you say though? Because me personally, it depends on the issue. I'm conservative on some issues. I'm
I am to a
extremely
point.
liberal on some
Yeah.
other issues. It really does fucking change issue
I
to
mean-
issue with me.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest one is the nuclear weapons thing. Right? I don't agree with Corbyn on the nuclear weapons. I think world's a shitty place. Let's
Have 'em
keep
just in
that
case.
just in case. Let's use it an option. Let's not
I
use it as
think
a
you're more
first
likely to be a
strike.
target.
I think, you
What's
know
that
what?
statistic in America? If you own a gun,
Yeah.
you're suddenly percentage of being killed by one gun.
Yes,
So-
but let's make sure that the right people
I'm
are in
being-
charge of these things, and there isn't a Donald Trump figure in charge with a
Can't
big
stop
red
that from
button.
happening, though.
Well, let's just make sure. I mean, I know for a fact that in every nuclear submarine there's an envelope and it's got 3 options in it, and one is launch the missiles, sail to America, or sail to Australia. And every Prime Minister puts
sell or sail.
sail.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
so go for Australia, go
Yeah.
for America, or launch at this target. And that envelope can be updated at any time. It comes through, it's sealed, the captain has no idea what's in it. And they listen for the one show every morning on BBC World Service. And if that doesn't broadcast, they open that safe. Yeah?
Well, that's not good. What happens if there's a down transmitter?
Well,
Why-
no, they would
why
know.
Brilly Boy has
they would
interfered
know-
with the
yeah,
fucking
well,
signal.
No, they would know that. They're not picking it up for a reason. They'll keep trying until they can finally get something,
I
aren't
think
they?
it makes us more
There
target.
would, actually, if there wasn't that signal, there would be a massive amount of static because on that frequency it would have been EMP'd out of shit. Out completely EMP'd out. All you get is static if you try to tune into that signal.
Right, say North Korea launched a missile, yeah? Who are they going to target? They're not going to target Switzerland, are they? They're not going to target Namibia.
Maybe though.
Unless they've got a grudge against Namibia.
Let's say
right?
I wanted to be the worst bully in the school, and I really wanted to make a name for myself.
Yeah.
Instead of going up to the biggest, hardest lad in the playground, who would be the USA, I go and pick the child equivalent of Switzerland. Popular, everybody loves them, never hurts anyone. I go and I just massacre that fucking kid in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make me like kind of a badass of the playground? Like, he's fucked up.
Well, no, because the US would nuke you.
Yeah, very good point.
Ah, but they wouldn't do it straight away, would they? Unless you got
But it would
nuclear
still
weapons of your
cause a
own.
bit of shock, wouldn't it, surely? I'm just saying the way you said they're not going to nuke Switzerland. No, I agree with you, they're not. But it would still be pretty fucked if
And
they
if
did.
anyone-
But
It would
let's
be-
face it, if there's a nuclear exchange in NATO and Russia,
We'd be a
Switzerland
target.
will be caught in the middle of that anyway, fallout wise.
Well, yeah, exactly. So we're all fucked anyway.
So we're all fucked anyway.
So just get rid
But
of them.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying we
The
match
reason
up.
why we have
I'm not
them-
saying it's
The
just.
reason why we have them is so we can dominate our own interests on the national stage. That's the only reason.
No, I think it's the ultimate deterrent. Is that if you do that,
It's like
we
Gaz
will.
says
We
with
will.
bullies. The Yanks bullies. Anyone's got nuclear weapons, they can do what the fuck they want.
Yeah, but do
to,
they?
to an extent, because you know,
No, we-
Russia
we-
and
we-
China have got nuclear weapons, so they can't go nuts.
Well, it's mutually assured destruction at that point, isn't it?
but I
Mad.
don't know. It
Mad.
just takes one mad.
Or mothers against drunk driving.
Hey!
What about if one of them officers in the submarine's been down there for 6 months, has a nervous breakdown, he decides to set off
Well,
a nuclear missile?
It did alarm me. There's a Radiolab documentary that, you know how we all think, oh, Trump can't just go and push the button. He kind of can. If you look into it, I listened to this documentary. This guy tried, he was just a normal guy. He was, well, not a normal guy. He was a soldier involved in the process somewhere of
Yeah.
looking after the triggers, something like that. And it became clear to him that a president could just make the order and
Yeah, but
people have to follow it.
Yeah, but you still got to get the codes.
Oh yeah, but people have to follow the order. And he tried campaigning against this and saying, hey, maybe there should be some checks and balances.
Yeah,
He was fucking, not suicided, but career suicided.
I got you.
If you get me, yeah. He was fucking quickly disappeared and they did a whole documentary and his point was essentially just like, I just thought there should be, and I know what you're saying, yeah, no, Trump hasn't got the codes, he can't go and literally press a button. But if he gives the fucking order, the order has to be fucking followed. There's no like committee of generals that are like, we kind of outvote you, Don.
I would leave it up to the general's own sense at that point.
What about if it was that Mad Dog Patton, or whatever his name was?
Oh, if it was Jack D. Ripper from, Doctor Strangelove.
Well, no, I was about real life. The
Oh,
one
Patton.
that New Korea.
Yeah, they went
Is
to
it Patton?
They went
No, it
to
wasn't
Cuba,
Patton.
for fuck's sake, didn't they?
It wasn't Patton. Who was it? Nimitz.
MacArthur.
So MacArthur, yeah. In the Korean War, he wanted to use low yield tactical nuclear weapons against the Chinese.
So
yeah.
if you give him the command,
Well, no, but at that point, there's got to be people around him who've got to sort of. So you know what? Is that the best option? Sure.
well, we
It
could
can't be a
discuss
decision.
this forever. Should
We
we
could
move
do.
on?
Let's go to North Korea,
Yeah, go on then.
and I'll tell you some entertaining things about North Korea. What
Yay.
they believe.
It just before you start, my 18-year-old niece, who is about to start uni, she asked me what the podcast was on tonight, and I said propaganda, and she said, "Oh, you should talk about North Korea. I've been studying." I said, "I think we're going to."
Have you seen them posters from North Korea?
No, I
They're good,
haven't.
aren't they, Ben?
Yeah, they are. There's a great. I went to the Imperial War Museum in my last trip to London.
Oh, awesome.
It was quite fun. There was a World War I trenches, and it was cool. But nonetheless, it got to the Korean War, and there's this massive Korean War poster, and it's from North Korea, and it is essentially an Uncle Sam pouring dollars into a dead GI's mouth, and basically, Americans, this is what your death means, and you're like, and I saw that and went.
If you want to find the truth,
I actually took a picture of it and when I was there and sent it to Mike. I thought, well, he'll appreciate it. We weren't doing the podcast. I don't know if we were doing the podcast at that point. I think we were starting up. And I sent it to Mike and said, "Wow,
yeah.
and these are the bad guys." I
You
think
want
it
to
was
find
exactly
the
the
truth,
thing.
find the propaganda from your enemy,
Yeah,
because they're gonna point out the weaknesses of your regime.
yeah, and he was like, "Shit." I mean, you can argue the Korean War was not a just war, but certainly a war.
Certainly wasn't a just war.
Well, yeah,
it's horrific. It's still at war.
Yeah, but the North Koreans think they are. Let's go with North Korea and what they think about their great leaders.
Okay.
And I'll read out. I won't tell you which ones they are because it's all pretty much intertwined as such. They're all genetic products of the original. Kim Jong Il. Oh, hang on, no, it was Kim Jong Il. Kim Il Sung is the granddaddy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, basically, he invented the hamburger. They've invented the hamburger. They've claimed sawdust is full of nutrients.
That's what they fill their bread with, I guess.
Yeah, never use the toilet.
Okay.
He never
never.
Yeah,
Oh,
never
he
use
never.
the toilet. Never use the toilet.
Not no North Koreans ever use the toilet.
No,
I was gonna say yeah.
No, Kim Jong Il will never use the toilet.
No, apparently he burns off the calories.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to excrete.
The
All
North
this
Korean
energy.
North Korean citizens are
His
told.
body's that efficient gas that it burns off all the energy. He doesn't need to poop.
Yeah.
A bit like a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First
North.
time I played golf.
You made 18 holes in one. I never played it again. 18 holes in one. But they're told, the North Korean citizens are told the world venerates their leaders and also celebrates their birthdays with North Korea. And I would imagine the North Korean football team, because they do get to the World Cup,
Yeah.
they're not actually a bad side. They'd probably beat England in the tournament.
Who wouldn't?
Well, there you go. Who wouldn't? But I would imagine that no matter what stage they go out in, they come home with a replica World Cup and have a victory parade.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
I bet they're all murdered once they get back.
No,
They've
'cause
been to the outside, haven't they? He goes, the national team's come back. They've all retired. And they've gone to live in the mountains. We've got a new team this year.
Well, speaking of sports and North Korea, it's currently the Winter Olympics have started. Have you heard that a North Korean...
South Korean team has joined together.
Oh, no, a North Korean politician is visiting, and apparently this has made the seating arrangements incredibly awkward.
All right.
Yeah, there's a North Korean politician has decided to...
Come and visit. Well, he's been given the okay to go and visit.
I guess.
He's been deemed trustworthy enough to go and visit,
And,
so he doesn't defect to the south while he's there.
I'm asking, does he make it back to North Korea?
Oh, it depends on what he does and says. I'd imagine he's got several North Korean bodyguards around him with orders to execute him at any moment he says anything favourable about the South.
It's probably been spun in North Korea, hasn't it? That now these unsanctioned, illegal winter games are now proper and just because one of our politicians is going there to oversee matters.
But they have actually joined
they
together
sent a
quite
team.
willingly to join with South Korea.
Oh, to enter a team.
Yeah, so they have got. I don't know if it's every sport or what, but they. I mean, there was the North Korean. I mean, there was some North Korean cheerleaders at the South Korea hockey game, so maybe it's that kind of arrangement.
Well, I heard
they represent North and South during the events. Even if the North are doing the event, there's some Southern people there. Maybe they have. I doubt they have mixed teams. You wouldn't get the team. Ship, would you? You wouldn't get the teamwork together.
It'd be a lot of kidding.
But there might be like a North Korean guy on the sidelines going "Yay!" and vice versa.
I heard the comedian Mark Steele, who's incredible today, described the Winter Olympics as it's basically lots of increasingly complex ways to slide.
yeah, he's right.
I sliding on ice.
I don't watch the Winter Olympics.
No, I'm not interested.
I don't watch the regular Olympics. I watched the 100 metres men's final.
Do you know what? Track and field doesn't really
interest
me.
You know, in school I hated it. I was always crap. I could throw stuff reasonably far, but never the furthest. I could jump reasonably far, but never the furthest. And I hated running. Yeah. I hated running in a line. Yeah. I was running for a ball.
Let's not go through all the sports you hate.
What's in the box?
Basketball. Sorry, mate.
Where were we? North Korea.
North Korea. They actually
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. They actually believe the Japanese stole time from them in World War II.
Awesome.
And Kim Jong-un set the clocks half an hour forwards on the 15th of August 2015 to claim that time back.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. That's good, isn't it? I like that. Kim Il-sung, who was the granddaddy, he created the world. He controlled the weather. He was a son of God. He single-handedly defeated the Japanese.
Didn't he also?
And he also played the 18 holes in one of gold.
But isn't that the one that also stole President Jimmy Carter's wife?
Oh man, is he?
I did, because I didn't make many notes this week. But yeah, Kim. I thought that was Roman numerals for 2 in the middle of their name. Is that ill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is he? Yeah, Kim Il-sung. That must have been the one before, or 2 before.
Kim Il-sung is the granddad.
Right.
Kim Jong-un.
After the first lady.
To be honest, the names really confuse me when researching this.
Well, they believe in Korea. That,
they do. They love Korea.
Well, they believe there that the first lady who was married to Jimmy Carter, she met Kim Il-sung and was so besotted with him that she left America and denounced America. And went with him.
Did this actually happen?
No. No.
Checking.
It's North Korean propaganda.
Jimmy Carter wasn't that impressive though, and Kim Il-sung did that sharp suit. In fact,
I read
a story.
Sorry, that was horrible.
You know, Kim Il-sung used the brown suit. You know, the old Team America brown suit.
Brownsy.
Right. Apparently, they put it about in North Korea that a Paris fashion magazine had basically said that suit was the height of fashion.
With that haircut.
The jumpsuit and the hair. The thing is, what I don't get about the new one, Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
So he was schooled in Switzerland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sent away to.
Yeah, he was schooled in the West. He was schooled in Switzerland, and he's like, if we were, what we're led to believe is that, you know, go back to propaganda, it's America versus Korea, and Korea are doing the provoking and America aren't. I'm pretty confident he knows what America have got and what he's got.
I know for a fact that they've had at least half a dozen peace requests turned down from the United States.
Wow.
So they want to make peace. They want to go to tables.
America's
actually said no. And Reagan did it to Russia. Gorbachev said, right,
let's scrap nuclear weapons.
Yeah, we'll take the missiles down. Reagan met him and said, no, can't do that, sorry.
He said, I'm sorry, I can't.
I'm telling you, America, they're the demons.
Well,
so apologies to America listeners. Apologies to our American listeners.
We
who
are
like
more
us.
popular in America than any other country.
Yeah.
God
So what-
knows why. Probably so they can sit there shooting their fucking laptops as a goddamn limey prick said it again.
I have an issue with limey. That's
I know. And I thank you, Ben, for the factoid of why we're actually called limeys, which is actually pretty badass. And it's completely off subject, but it will only take 2 seconds. Can I give you my favourite factoid of the week?
Go on then.
This is from the podcast No Such Thing as a Fish.
Alright.
Which, if you're a fan of the TV show QI,
Yeah.
Ooh.
it's the QI elves.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
They
yeah.
have their own podcast, and it's fucking brilliant. This factoid today. So, I didn't know this, but butterflies, apparently it's proven, feed on the tears of animals.
Wow.
That's not the factoid. That's pretty metal in itself.
Yeah.
Your little cute little
I
butterfly.
would drink the tears of my victims.
It drinks. The drinks the tears of large mammals. But then some clever scientist has sat there thinking and gone, well, hang on, we've got through the fossil records sort of proof that butterflies have been around a lot longer than flowers.
Alright.
So maybe drinking tears is maybe their main form of feeding rather than eating pollen. But if they were around before flowers, what animals' tears were they eating?
Yeah.
Dinosaurs, baby!
Oh!
Butterflies feed off the tears of dinosaurs. You think they're little pretty Nancy boys? No, they're metal as fuck.
There you are. There's a T-Rex. All of a sudden, boom, cluster of butterflies are in its eyes. T-Rex can't see shit all. It drops a banner down around itself. That's why it knocked the banner down in Jurassic Park, the original.
There you go.
Eyes for butterflies. Couldn't see shit all.
So back to North Korea.
I love that. That was a great bit of fact.
Yeah, that was
Thanks
great.
to that podcast,
Yeah.
No Such Thing as a Fish. Check it out. They don't need our help, but it is awesome.
So, should we talk a bit about Mr. Trump and the first...
Hold on a minute.
Okay, go on.
I've got something.
Hit us with it, Mike.
Right, who's heard of the atrocity in Cambodia?
The one from the 70s?
No,
Yeah, from the
no,
70s.
Tell you
Yeah.
what then, this will be
Oh,
very
Pol Pot
interesting
and
to
that.
me.
Pol Pot, yeah.
Pol Pot, Killing
Because-
Fields.
Because I'm into my punk rock, and there are a lot of punk rock songs.
Holiday in Cambodia.
That's the most famous
the,
one,
The
yeah.
Dead Kennedys?
Yeah.
Yes. So what happened in Cambodia then? Because I don't know this.
It was a genocide, the Killing Fields.
Yeah, it was a genocide.
I don't know that much about it, but it was after the Vietnam War,
yeah,
wasn't it?
what-
Somebody went in there, or their own people? Their
Pol
own
Pot, their own
government?
dictator, yeah.
I know that name, Pol Pot.
Yeah,
Right.
he's the one that did it.
Wow.
And
Killed.
and obviously they were enemies of America, the communists, weren't they? You know. But everyone's heard of Cambodia.
Right.
Who's
Yeah.
heard of Portuguese East Timor?
I've heard of it from
Do
Risk.
you know what happened in Portuguese East Timor in the 70s?
I do not.
No
Nobody
idea.
knows, do they? There was 200,000 East Timorese murdered or starved to death, including babies.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was the Indonesian government attacking this country. They literally this time they're one of the few countries that's still sort of self-sufficient. They have no input from the West, you know. Tiny little island. The Indonesians invaded with the US backing.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
of course they were US
So it's
backed,
basically
yeah,
been
the Indonesians.
expunged from history
What-
because
what
nobody
year-
fucking knows
What
about
year-
it.
what was it?
1975. In the
That
New York
explains a lot,
Times,
yeah.
Chomsky did an investigation. All the New York Times articles from 1975 to 79.
It's not meant.
On Cambodia and Pol Pot, there was 1,175 column inches.
Wow.
On East Timor, there was 70 in
Wow.
the same period. Because, you know,
It's not.
the US, corporations in league with the state,
Yeah.
they're committing the atrocity in East Timor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no news goes on about it. The communists in Cambodia, fuck me, it's all over the papers every day. It's
Yeah.
pumped into you.
Killing Fields,
Yeah.
Pol Pot,
Now,
Holiday in
I don't
Cambodia.
know.
at the
Not
risk
great.
of asking a stupid question, Killing Fields is the clue in the name.
Yeah.
Is it quite literally
Yeah.
fields of people shut?
Fields of
massacred
schools,
down?
yeah.
Estimations that 1 million people died.
Whoa. And what was the? Forgive my
And this is what
ignorance, but this so wiping out these little communist countries is in America's in their political interests
Of
or in their
course, Russia-
financial.
they want to keep
Right.
up the arms race of Russia, don't they?
Right.
And you had
if
the
the Russians are funding Pol Pot or whatever, it's bad.
Yeah, so you go
But the
in there,
US
you
funded
ferment
the
it.
Indonesians to do atrocities to these Timorese.
And it was the reason.
Shocking, really, isn't it?
The reason
Everybody knows Pol Pot, and no one knows about East Timor.
The reason
I
America
didn't,
got
that's
involved
what I
in
saw,
Vietnam was the domino effect. It was the American foreign policy. If one country fell to communism, another would fall, and another would fall. And it's why the British fought these little tiny secret wars in the Middle East to stop Aden and Oman.
What happened in Europe as well, Greece.
And Greece, and we fought these little tiny little shadow wars, but the Americans did it on a little bit bigger scale with Vietnam. Couldn't allow Vietnam to fall to communism.
So the
So
Secret
the
Wars
more- so the
isn't
more-
just a thing from Marvel Comics.
Oh God, no! I mean, there was a war in Oman. The SES fought war in Oman for 3 years. Right? It wasn't from.
I don't know
like
where
Do you know
Oman
the
is.
UK?
Yeah, it's in the Middle East, but it's like from 72 to 75. They fought this Middle Eastern war that no one knew about. All the casualties, because there was such a small scale of British soldiers involved, not many were killed. Any wounded was shipped back to the UK as road traffic accidents in Cyprus.
Wow.
It's bad, isn't it?
They went through the entire British Army's frontline reserve of ammunition for a war on Russia during that war. And they were like, well, what's all this ammunition going for? Oh, well, you know, training.
And you'll know this more than me, but I'm sure that the UK, since the Second World War, have been in perpetual war.
Yeah, there's only 1 year we haven't
One
lost
year.
1 year we haven't lost a soldier in combat in the 20th century. It was like 1963.
I did not know that
Yeah,
statistic.
there's
and that is
one
fucking
year in the 20th
shocking.
century
Yeah.
we never lost a soldier in the war zone. It was 63, and in 64 Northern Ireland kicked off big time.
And this all feeds in. So let's bring this back to the present day then. Of what
Hold on, can I just
we've
one
mentioned.
more quote from
Oh,
Chomsky
go
about
on.
this.
Bring on the
That's
charm.
what he said about it. Human beings are suffering and dying because of policies that we are involved in. We as citizens of democratic societies and are responsible for. The media is ensuring that we do not act upon our responsibilities in the interest of power are served, not the needs of the people suffering, or even for that matter the needs of the American people, who would be horrified if they knew the blood dripping from their hands because of the way they are allowing themselves to be deluded and manipulated by the system.
And that effectively ties into...
Well, I was going to say that comes right back round to what we mentioned earlier with Syria. In this modern world that we live in now, Syria is not being reported in mainstream news.
I mean, we are bombing Syria, the special forces in Syria, but we're not reporting.
aware of it and know of it through the internet.
Yeah.
Now, in
And
these
a
times,
lot of helmet footage cams as well,
So,
leaking onto various combat
what was that
sites I
country
follow.
you said, Oman, which I didn't even know was a bloody country. I'm sorry, forgive my ignorance.
The-
But so
It's
back
not something
then,
hippies say when they're stoned.
but back
It's a proper
then though,
country.
but back then there was no internet, so they didn't have
Yeah.
to worry about it.
No. And there was
But
a
now
press
because-
blackout.
But because there is an internet, and all right, it might not be on the mainstream news, but I'm thinking on my feet here. But they do have to provide to us, those of us that do know about Syria, these things, a reason, and that is where you enter the ultimate bad guy terrorism,
Yeah.
isn't it? Our liberties are at threat. We touched on this last time. I think they're going to come here. Our way of life is at threat.
Oh, yeah.
They've
Yeah.
got to placate
Sharia
us.
law.
They have to placate us in some
Islamic
way.
ray guns. Don't forget
yeah,
them.
so they haven't. So my point is, they haven't stopped doing what they've always been doing, but now they have to provide some kind of justification. Whereas
Yeah.
before, they could completely get away with that in secret. In a country I didn't know existed, because it's never been said to me before. I've never happened to catch a documentary. They sure as fuck didn't tell me about it at school.
No, they wouldn't have, yeah.
That's a secret fucking war.
Yeah, it was,
and
yeah.
And if
And
the
it was only
internet didn't
leaked,
exist, Syria would be a secret fucking war.
It was
wouldn't
only
it?
leaked, that the Oman War was only leaked when the guy who was in charge, a major in the SES, wrote a book about it, because he was
my
involved.
life. You're joking.
And
me.
it was like, oh man, I think I had that book in the, mid to late 90s. And it was called Secret War, the SES's war in Oman. And it was like, sold in the military history section of Waterstones or W.H. Smith or whatever.
Very under the radar.
Very under the radar, not a bestseller or anything. And it was like,
Wow.
I think, because I'm a military history buff, I picked it up when I was a teenager and went, oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. Did you know that the British government tested biological weapons on the British people
I know they've tested it on
throughout
soldiers.
history?
I fucking
No,
didn't,
populations. They drop it in a population and see what would happen.
I know the Americans did it with the mosquitoes infecting a
I've read
certain
an
type
article
of...
about it.
What kind of chemical?
I don't know off my head, but you can search for it.
That is fucked up. On actual population, this feeds directly what we just said into that Chomsky quote of blood on our hands,
Yeah,
but we don't know about it.
that's
And
the
if
point.
we fucking did,
Yeah.
and what...
Henry
could
Ford
we
said-
hack it? Could
Henry
we
Ford
hack it?
said if the American people knew the way that their country was run, there would be a revolution tomorrow.
But
Yeah.
they are so propaganda. They are so that I don't know if we touched on it last week. We might have done, but we know it's factual that your average American student, a child student, a kindergarten student, every morning you stand up and you pledge allegiance to the flag.
We said with the Lord's
We've
Prayer,
talked
didn't we?
about this before.
that's
Lord's
last
Prayer
week.
in this country. So for your average, and I can't blame them. This isn't me slagging them off. I wouldn't want to hear it about my country, which I am
Well, the
right
thing is,
now.
you don't have a choice as a 6-year-old. You've got no choice. You stand up, you pledge allegiance.
That's
you
What's
the
the
follow
difference
point.
between
If
that
you
and
pointed
North
out-
Korea? What's the difference between that
There
and
isn't.
North
What
Korea?
is there?
Not much, is
And
there?
let's face
Well,
it.
no, I'll tell you the difference, and this is the difference, in my opinion, is that your average American citizen does have access to a different narrative if
They
they
choose
know
to,
about
yeah.
it and they can.
Takes effort, mate.
Yes.
It takes effort to go
You've
against the
got
grain
to.
and research these
But
things.
North-
People
Exactly.
can't be
North
arsed.
Korea-
They want to sit there and be spoon-fed.
North Korea, they don't have a
No,
choice. You'll be
no,
shot.
they
It
are.
has to be
America,
spoon-fed.
Yes.
Yeah, but North Korea, they have got a level of brainwashing in North Korea.
Intellectual laziness, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
You call
But
it.
in North Korea, they've got a level of brainwashing the Nazis could only have dared dream about. If the West invaded North Korea, right, they've got a population of 20 million. You've got 5 million of them under arms any one time across 3 services. You've then got another 10 million people, from the very young to the very old. I'm counting 5 million as infirm or unfit to fight or whatever, or in power.
They'll be
Right?
starving to death.
Or starving to death, or too unfit to fight. They will pick up sticks and stones and go to fight the invader. Right? That is something Nazi Germany never managed. Right? Because they had the werewolf divisions, which were kids who were 14. They hit the Jugend, and they went out and they took out American tanks with Panzerfaust and then got gunned down. But they had one generation of it effectively. The North Koreans have got like 4 or 5
The
generations.
Germans were a man.
They were,
effectively.
but they only had one generation of brainwashed youth.
Yeah.
They come into power in the 30s. They wasted their manpower. That generation that survived that was bred off the Second World War bred off the First World War in the Second World War, and then they had the teenagers who they managed to brainwash. North Korea has got from the 50s to now 6 generations who've been brainwashed.
And most of them moved over to America and Project Paperclip.
Well, the Nazis did, yeah. And that's my
I
theory.
heard-
The Nazis never went away. They just got into the American system and the British system. Sorry, that's my book.
no book's
My book
falling.
just fell on the floor. Sorry. They never went away.
Yeah, I
And
heard
all
an
they've done is
awesome-
influence our way of thinking.
Yes.
To the point where we've got the Brexit, which is let's face it, is a right wing decree. And I am fed up of hearing of it.
Oh,
in all
God.
fairness, so I won't go
I'm
into
sick
too
of
much.
it.
Even I am fed up of hearing about it.
But I heard an interesting fact about.
We,
like you
we,
said
we
about
do need to talk about it in a second once you've got this
oh,
stuff in
the Nazis with the paperclip, Project Paperclip. But also, where did all the Nazis go?
Yeah, they
essentially?
went to America, they went to Britain, they
I
went to
heard
France.
this, it might not be a factoid, it's a theory, but they, a lot of them that didn't go to Project Paperclip, went into founding and starting corporations. And
then investing that money back into Germany
they
and
now
starting German
essentially,
companies.
so the Nazis just became the corporations of
Exactly.
the world and the science
Exactly.
leaders of the world.
Yeah,
Um,
they had billions in gold bullion, and they took it out with them. And then what did they do? The German economic miracle of the 70s and 80s, where Germany became a dominant power in Europe because of its economy, was because
no secret.
you had old Nazis setting up companies and bankrolling it with billions of and they got their country back on its feet. They never went away. They're in America, they're in Britain, they're in Germany, they're in France, they're in Italy. They never went away, in my opinion. They just went underground, rebranded, and know that
Renamed.
Renamed.
Yeah.
And
Rebranded, you hit that. You said it.
Yeah.
Now
perfectly.
they're in the media.
And now they own the media, they own the corporations, and they're pumping that right-wing view
That's it, the primary-
into our media, and that's why you meet perfectly rational people on the street, like I do when I met some woman dog walking. Our dogs get on, they have a run around, and she's telling me that it's a disgrace that these Asian taxi drivers cheat their taxes, and we need the KKK back in this country.
We never had them.
Well, we never had them, but we need them in. And I was
We had
like,
the brain
so it's
shifts.
and I said, so it's okay for the super rich to cheat their tax, but no, she kept coming back to those Asian taxi drivers.
And where does she get that
And where did
from,
she get
though?
that from? The
Exactly.
the news.
Yeah.
It's not.
The primary
Don't worry about the
function-
elites ripping you off. No, it's these guys driving
Yeah.
taxis.
Chomsky says the primary function of the mass media is to mobilise support for the specialised interests that dominate the government and private sectors.
There you go. So everything that
And that came from the Powell Memorandum. Does anyone
And
know
to
about
keep
that?
it, and to keep it
Let's
so.
mention this, guys.
No, sorry.
The Powell Memorandum,
No, what's that?
1971. It
Nope.
was a right-wing think tank kind of thing.
I guarantee you, Cheney was part of that.
Might have been 71, I don't know. But his name was Powell.
Oh, he's been around for fucking ever.
And
That
he wrote a
bastard has.
memo saying how the private sector, because after Vietnam and the hippies, the private sector got a bit of a bad press.
They kept the war going for longer than they
That's it,
should.
yeah.
I mean,
So they
the
wanted to
American
turn
boys
things
being
around,
killed,
so
and
that was their plan then, to take control of the media, and they've done a pretty damn good job,
yeah, they have.
haven't they? Six
And-
companies now
and
own
you know what,
90% of the media
Mike,
in America.
I know you haven't seen it. Captain America 2.
Yeah, you keep saying it.
Which is why that. Sorry.
it's Gaz, you'll agree with me.
Oh, definitely.
It's exactly this plot. It's like
Yeah.
it's a fucking warning.
And the one who you would think would be against it the most.
1984, obviously, is the.
And well, I'll
Well,
tell you what. After
yes.
I'll give you a stat. I'll tell you what. You know, I'll give you a
Clearly,
stat.
1984 is the standard.
I will give you a stat on that when we get to Trump.
But all this. Oh shit! I lost my point.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. It'll come back. But this all links. So we started this. This episode was on. We said fake news, but really we're talking about propaganda.
What-
but
what-
then
what you
leads
mean?
me on to what they established years ago, that it's obviously very important to them to control the media, to control the masses'
Yeah.
thoughts. So where does fake news fit into that? It just fits in that
Well, it is
we
fake,
can't
isn't it?
tell them the truth anymore, or even remotely close to the truth. We have to. No, that was the point I was going to make. Sorry, guys. Facebook.
Yeah.
As much as we may slag it off, we're all users of it.
It can be a tool for good. It can be a tool for bad.
This must be such a thorn in the side of, like that last Chomsky quote you read out. This must be a thorn in the side of the masters who've sought out to control media, and they did for so long.
Well,
But now they still control it because, like you said, Facebook works in a weird
of
way.
course it does.
There are so
Algorithms.
many weird algorithms. Have you noticed how you only see posts from basically the same small group that you interact with?
Yeah.
You might have 200 friends, but you only see posts from,
Yeah.
let's say, I'm guessing, 30 to 40 friends. You do not see all 200
No.
people's posts. Algorithms at work.
Yep.
It's controlling what you see,
And
even
now
if it's just...
net neutrality now. They got rid of that.
Oh, that is terrifying.
So-
We need it.
Should we explain to listeners what that means?
Well, if you're American, you do know, but yeah, let's go through it.
It's a
'cause
bit,
it
a
hasn't
very
hit us.
simplified level. Right,
Yeah.
so I'm with Sky
Yeah.
Internet, and if Sky decide they don't like Netflix, they will slow down
Yeah.
my streaming
Yeah.
service to Netflix, so
Or
I can
not
stream,
provide it at all.
or not provide it at all, so I can use
Pay
their streaming
subscription.
service
Yeah.
to pay a bit more to get exactly the same as I once saw,
Yeah.
Now,
but for no more money.
when you're
Basically, that's
talking
what it boils
about
down to, people.
now,
Yeah.
when you're talking about entertainment, that might sound like your basic some business shenanigans and some business strong arming and some good business sense. Like if you're the provider, we don't own Netflix, so we'll slow Netflix
Yeah.
down, and you can use our provider. Okay, when you're talking about entertainment, when you're talking about the fucking news,
Yeah.
right? That's an entirely
Yeah,
different.
of
That's
course it
not commercial business
No.
interest. That's social engineering. That's political.
Of course it is.
mo-
That
proper
goes to-
fucking gander.
And that goes to the Chinese thing. where they're saying, well, what you look at on the net, or what we let you look at on the net.
That's the key phrase. Let you look at.
What we let you look at on the net, you get citizen points for that.
Whoa.
So if I don't look at porn for a year,
that is coming, isn't it?
right? The Chinese have got this, going to have this up and running.
Is this a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, if I don't,
knew their internet was fucked.
If I don't look at porn for a year, I get citizen points, which means I can apply for better jobs, a better salary, better housing. If I'm there every day looking at
social engineering,
moral judgments on your internet fucking behaviour.
if every couple of days I decide to look at the Chinese version of Pornhub and crack one off,
or you look at Western papers,
well, that immediately, that's a fucking boom.
That's a red flag.
That's a red flag straight away. But if I'm not looking at improper, not approved by the party, communist, uncommunist porn, bang, all of a sudden I've lost some points.
Nobody wants to watch communist porn.
It's very efficient and simple, guys.
All in the missionary
Strictly
position.
missionary, with an averagely endowed male.
and in an orgy, everybody's equal.
Does everybody come at the same time?
Yeah, all the women have the same size breasts and the same size weight and body, and all the men are the same size. And there's a fat bloke thrown in for equality.
I want you all to do a test. The three of us here recording and everybody listening at home. I want you to go home tonight, and we're all going to watch porn at some point. When you go on your chosen porn site, I want you to put in the search engine communist porn and see what comes up.
And there was some dodgy Russian dominatrix porn where they're interrogating a spy or something.
Waterboarding an FBI agent.
I mean,
all these Russians wanking after an FBI agent getting waterboarded. Get them answers.
Or it'll be FPS Russia where he just shoots a load of guns and stuff.
Happiness is a warm gun.
Actually, he's pretty cool, an FPS Russia guy. He's alright. He has the. Did you ever play Call of Duty?
No, I know of it. I know about it.
I'm not going to go into it. It's good porn. Fuck it.
Have you got anything else, Ben?
Trump. Let's talk a little bit about Trump, because we are living in the age of the fake news.
Yeah.
And the alternative facts thing, because this is where it kind of, all that shit we've been fed kind of boils down to one point here. And it was the crowd at Trump's inauguration.
Ah, yes, this one.
Now, were photos taken where there were clearly not as many people
I saw them.
Trump's inauguration as there were at Obama's. Now, Sean Spicer came on stage and said that, it was bigger. It was huge. It was
biggest
massive.
inauguration ever.
Biggest inauguration ever. These photos were sort of used as evidence against, and he said, well, no, an alternative fact. It's not a lie. It's not a lie there weren't that many people there.
So he coined the phrase alternative fact.
It was coined by Kellyanne Conway on the 22nd of January 17. But
she was Trump's campaign.
She was.
Officer.
Now, within 4 days
Manager.
of that quote being used, sales of 1984 had increased by 9,500%, and it went to number 1 on Amazon's bestseller list.
I love it.
Okay.
That is brilliant.
Now, here's some bog standard moron research that anyone can do.
Okay.
I've just googled the definition of the word alternative.
Okay.
The definition of the word alternative is brackets of one or more things available as another possibility or choice. Now,
so you choose to believe that fact,
so I'm not going to bother googling fact, because I'm sure we can all understand fact has been a truth, a factual fucking truth. So yes, you. Fuck me.
Yeah.
Well,
It's nonsensical.
It should be pointed out that Kellyanne
The
Conway.
truth or not the truth?
Yes, it's
Not the
literally
alternative truth.
It's a bit of an absolute, isn't it? Like,
A fact is a fact is a fact is a fact.
That's the world we live in now.
But
the
Kellyanne-
truth apocalypse,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will broadcast on.
I'll put to you that Kellyanne Conway defended Trump's travel ban by talking about a non-existent, and I'll use air quotes, Bowling Green Massacre, where 2 Iraqis allegedly went foobar with
Someone that didn't
AKs.
exist.
Did not exist in the slightest, my friend.
Hell of a false flag, isn't it?
Yeah, and oh man, you can edit it if you want. We've got them false flag list up. Can we get that again? That's
We
good.
had that last.
Yeah,
Can you
I
find
think so.
that, Mike?
You still want what we went through it?
Yeah, do we go through it all, or there's a few
we,
more we can knock about on?
I
do a
think we've
quick-
done enough really on that.
Do
I
a
don't
quick
know.
pee break before we get into
Yeah,
it.
of course.
I'm
we can,
so
yeah.
sorry.
It's all right.
It's my birthday, listener. I'm drinking more than usual.
So
We're back.
We're back. Off air, we were briefly talking about the military's sort of brainwashing and propaganda, and they
Biggest
say-
propaganda there is. I mean,
Of course it is. I mean, you're
you're convincing people that you aren't committing murder.
yeah. I mean, in World War II, I don't know the stats of World War One because they probably weren't taken. World War II, 1 in 10 people fired their weapon to kill.
Right.
Now, 1 in 10 kind of represents the sociopath level of the population at the time.
And is it that thing where I've heard that most people would aim high?
They would aim high or aim low or just close their eyes and fire.
Right. Okay.
Now, nowadays, you get that up to 7 out of 10 with training and dehumanisation of targets. When I used to shoot at targets, they're always what we used to call the figure 5 target or the charging Hun.
Right. What's charging Hun?
Because the Hun was a derogatory name for the Germans, and he had a German-style helmet on. But it was just a dude.
Still to this
you've
day,
seen- yeah,
you're trading.
You've seen, not the spiky one, but the
Okay,
World War II
but-
one, you know. The,
But
and,
still,
and he
it's
always had,
German.
he was always had his mouth open, and he was charged at you as if he was screaming, and he had his gun up in the air, and that's what you fired at.
Yeah, they're not going to put women and children.
They're not going to put but then again, I did do exercises where you did go into rooms and a woman and children would pop up and you didn't
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah.
So there's that element to it. But on the range, you were shooting at the enemy. And I fired at a pig's head the once because it was a demonstration of what a live round would do to a human skull. Couldn't put a human
It
skull in
takes
the
a lot of
range.
time and effort to make a
Yeah.
human being into a killing machine.
It does, and it takes a lot of time. And if you're the infantry, you get it pounded at you more so than a combat arm, should we say? So you go right, okay. Well, these are the enemy, and you dehumanise them. They're not, and especially for the Iraq conflict, they weren't Taliban. They were muzzies, ragheads, muzzies, sand N-words. Yeah,
Okay.
and they were
That's how they do it.
and you dehumanise them.
Yeah.
So that when you are killing them, you're not killing them just
Well, Nazis
because.
did with the Jews. They call them rats.
Yeah, they weren't human.
Yeah.
They were
Subhuman.
untermenschen.
Untermensch.
And that was the same thing. But if you want to win, then you have to convince your guys to kill the other side. Because their duty is to kill you, and your duty is to kill them, and somewhere in the middle, that duty is going to get contradictory.
If an alien is like, if you just stand back and just think about it, what the fuck, man? It's mental.
Well, I wasn't gonna. I did talk about it last week, but I'm not getting my little violin out. But to the listener, I was sort of mugged just over a week ago by youths. I'm 35, and I'm guessing these kids were aged 15 to 16, and I was quite. My face was a little bit of a mess. I got punched and kicked a few times. Totally randomly. I'm just walking along, talking on my phone to a friend from work. I tapped on the shoulder.
Which you should be pointing out, no one took your phone.
No, that's it. They didn't even attempt to take the phone. That's a bit. So I tapped on the shoulder. I turned around. Smack. And I knew what was. So obviously I took the first hit and I knew what was happening. So I covered up and essentially just.
Rocky Balboa.
Essentially
Rocky 3 style.
covered up and took a kicking and a punching of some fucking kids. And for this last week, I've been sort of plagued by sort of images in my head, flashes of revenge.
Oh, I
let's say.
understand that. Yeah, I understand that far too much. Yeah,
A lot
I
of
can see that.
revenge fantasy has
Yeah.
been going on, let's say. But then having to stop myself, Mike, and this is to your point, and I'm not a fucking animal. I'm not a monster. Like,
But wouldn't you
but I
like to
have
be
been
just for a night?
But yes, and I've been thinking these, but then there's so much love in my life and niceness. I've had to make a conscious fucking choice, like seriously make a mental choice to let go of that.
Yeah.
And look, it
And
happened.
you'll feel better for it.
Yeah, it sucked for me, But I have there's so much love and niceness in my life to focus on that instead, and it's that as I suppose that's growing.
If only
up, isn't
everybody
it?
in the world could take that approach.
Or-
But my
Be a
point
different
is,
world.
though, it would be so
we could go
easy.
full Punisher mode.
Yes, but it would be very easy for you to manipulate those feelings in me.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people, you saw me, I put it on Facebook, and a lot of it was quite nice and also a little bit surprising just how many people messaged me and said, "Do you know who it is? Fucking send me the name." Blah blah blah. We'll go
I
and check.
suggested
Hang on,
go
hang
and
on.
look up a posse.
Yeah, what happens that happened? A few people came around,
Then I'm a monster. Then
Yeah.
They were children.
but the peer pressure from them, you know.
Yeah. How would I
No,
feel
kid-
to think, Mike, if I said this to my girlfriend, I said, I was honest with her, because she was cause I'm not gonna lie, I was sat up late having a beer just when I should have been in bed, and so, what's up? And I said I said, well, I'm plagued a bit by like images of revenge, basically, Batman fantasies, and
Oh, yeah.
you know, but I said to her,
Yeah.
but look, let's say, because they're in my area, my stomping ground, if I come across one of these young youths on their own, and I'm violent to them, and then the knock comes at the door, and it's the police, and the reality kicks in. I've just kicked the fuck out of another human being who's younger than me. My point is, as lovely as it would be, and my fantasies have gone to the level of, we sell blowtorches at work.
You're gonna blow torching people's feet, Gaz.
Well, they wear chavvy clothes, tend to be flammable.
They do, yeah.
But exactly, Mike, to your point, who am I then? Who am I then? Who's winning then? And I could be easily turned then, but you've got to make.
I'll tell you what you are,
It's
Gaz.
been hard though.
You're the hero that
I
this
know.
town deserves, but doesn't, or whatever it is. You are the knight. That's what
I
you
know,
are.
I
You
know.
are the knight. Oh, just put a mask on and
from,
do it.
From our point of view,
We'll
but
just put a mask on
But
and
hang
do
on,
it.
though.
It'll be fine.
from the point of view of the parent of one of those kids.
Fuck them. They've raised horrible children.
Yeah,
But
but
the same thing's
I
happening,
agree.
being played out in the
on a
media
grand
now.
scale.
With
Right.
the James Baldwin
I've
case.
got this kick-ass fucking skull mask, scully fucking ski mask. It's got my eyes. I've got a skull face. It'll be shit on.
No, we have to let it go. I'm okay. I'm not that physically injured, and my spirit isn't hurt.
I've
That's
got a crowbar,
tempting.
blunty stabby.
But so I don't know how that
Eye
ties
for
into
an eye
what
that
we're
makes
talking
them all
about.
blind.
Yes.
Oh, Gandhi was a 78-year-old man who slept with 2 virgins and a nappy. Get on with it. Sort it out. I'll get Blunty Stabby back and we'll go on a killing... I mean,
I
not a
did-
killing spree, but a rampage spree.
Okay, I heard a lovely, well, not that lovely, but a quote that I think you'd like, Ben, on this subject. 'Cause this has been in my head last week, thinking, do I need to learn...
We will be the knight.
Well, do I need to learn some self-defense? Or do I just need to not be walking through dodgy alleys? Or anyway,
You should be able to walk where you want.
yes, but so...
Should we finish off?
Is it better to be, hang on before I forget, is it better to be a warrior sitting in a garden or a gardener in a war?
The warrior in the garden.
So
innit?
essentially it's better to know how to kill people but choose not to do it than to be in a war and be like, like I was the other Friday while a load of kids were kicking my face. But,
This brings us down to the Clint Eastwood Unforgiven film.
oh, I love that movie.
So do I. I love it. But he's the gardener, but he knows how to kill. He's the shit
He
kicked
doesn't
him,
want to do it.
but then he goes and
Gets
kills.
dragged
And
in.
he feels good about himself again.
That's the thing, but
That's a lie, isn't it?
I don't know how
Because
any
then
of
he's gonna have post-traumatic stress syndrome. Whatever.
He drinks a lot of whiskey.
So I guess to try and tie my... I don't know why I told the story of last week. To try and tie it into propaganda. The response of a lot of my friends was, let's basically round up a crew.
A posse.
And we will go and literally stalk the streets and find them and hurt them. I could have bought into that. But I made a conscious decision of knowing that that doesn't suit my life and how I want to be. So you multiply that on a grand scheme, it's essentially insert country name here, set off this bomb here, we must now go and we have a right to go and get them. But then what does that make us?
That's true. It makes
There you
us.
go,
It makes,
I tied it back into propaganda.
it makes us. It makes the goddamn Batman guys.
I
It
know.
makes us.
I want to be the Batman, but I can't be. I can't be. So come on, what have we got?
Go on, Mike. What you got? You your last bit.
I don't think I've got much left. To be fair.
When are we gonna discuss?
We're
You were
going to
gonna
Trump
take
and
quotes.
Pizzagate.
No propaganda.
Oh, the quotes of propaganda, yes. I'll give you the quotes of propaganda and we'll talk about Pizzagate as well. The first quote. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organised habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are moulded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organised. I agree with that, absolutely.
That is bang on every word.
That was Edward Bernays in his book Propaganda. It spells it all out.
Doesn't that just hit home immediately straight? And it's so. This is the thing. None of this is
30s.
conspiracy.
This was written in the 30s.
Yeah.
We haven't learned from it.
And that's what. None of this is tinfoil hat. Once
it's
again, and I'm not
down.
slagging my parents off. I love them to death, but they're just a good example of your average.
Same as my parents, and I'm sure Mike's as well. They are told what
All
to
their
think, how
opinions
to
come
vote.
from-
I mean,
Well, they see the world in a completely different way than we do.
And they never sit to question. My mum,
No.
when she's doing it, whatever, keeping herself busy, it never crosses her mind like it might you and us three sat here that like, I wonder who controls the news and tells me all this information.
Yeah.
I know. No, she just sits there thinking, oh, that's awful. What's happening on
Yeah.
the news? Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Anyone ever seen the film Network?
Yeah, that is
Fucking
an
awesome film.
all-time classic. That performance. What's his name? The main actor. Fuck, I don't know,
his
but
name, but
God, it's fantastic. You'd love that movie, Ben. Network.
I'll watch
Bit
it.
heavy, classic, but it's
Yeah.
this.
I'm
It's
not
all-
standing for this anymore.
Yeah. And the way he's berating the audience, isn't he, and telling them all this stuff like you're just fucking sheep. You just all of this is
Fucking great film.
programmed into you, and he's there on the network telling them this. Oh yeah, it's a cigarette, that one.
Yeah, so
Kill that off.
if listeners ever watched that
Yeah. Oh, I wish this was visual.
oh, you spit your drink.
Oh,
and they want to know about propaganda, watch Network.
Oh no, sorry about the drink, but
That's
still. We drink a podcast.
Yeah. I'll give you the continuation of that quote if you like, as well.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah.
Wow.
Society is organised, dominated by the relatively small number of persons, a trifling fraction of our 120 million who understand the mental processes and social patterns of the masses. It is they who pull the wires which control the public mind, who harness old social forces and contrive new ways to bind and guide the world.
Harness old social forces like the old
So
guard.
the imperialism, Britain was great back in the day.
Jingoism,
And that's why
patriotism.
we talk about
Jingoism.
Brexit for a second. What was that if nothing else but, we won the Second World War, we'll be fine. You put a number on the side of a
Yeah, we
bus
had
and
no
people voted
bananas
for
or a
it.
ration of sugar.
We had straight bananas or curvy bananas.
We
whichever
had
the
no
fuck-
bananas in the war.
Oh, well, we had no bananas in the war. But
Have a banana.
no bananas can't be curved. They've got to be a certain curvature because of EU law. One of those stupid little factoids that made it out and for some reason influenced people's
What doesn't
decisions.
exist?
Of course it doesn't exist. No, it doesn't exist. It's fake news.
This-
Pretty much everything the Remain, the Leave side said was fake news.
350 million for the NHS.
Every week. On the side, put on the side of a bus, the British people fucking believe anything.
On bananas, though, do you eat bananas?
No.
Guys? Oh, I do. Have you ever noticed, I don't know if this is tinfoil hat territory, that some bananas taste chemically and some don't? Have you ever noticed
I've
that?
not noticed personally. But
I've honestly ate the odd banana and I'm like, this is...
do you know bananas are radioactive?
Yes, there is. I do know this fact. At a very, very tiny, tiny level, there's some radioactiveness.
Yeah.
But doesn't a banana that isn't genetically modified look completely different than what we
green,
think of as a banana?
isn't it?
I think it's a different
I've
shape
no
as
idea.
well.
Yeah,
I've heard
maybe.
what we because it's quite some famous American politician, Christian dude.
No, it's oranges that are green. Oranges
Oh,
are
right.
green and they turn them orange.
There you go. But there's something done to bananas because the shape is modified. But some guy who was basically saying that the fact that a banana fits so perfectly into a hand is evidence of evolution or something. And then somebody else underneath was like, dude, we make them that shape. They do not naturally
I didn't know
grow that way, apparently.
But they do grow on walking plants.
Walking plants?
plant,
What, fucking triffids?
Yeah. Banana plants walk.
Motherfucker.
Honestly, when they in the plant,
Another
you'll see,
reason-
you'll
that's the
see the
reason-
banana plantations, and they've left they'll leave a row, so much width, and they'll leave it blank. That's for the bananas because they move and they grow, they walk.
Oh.
It's fucked up, innit?
Fucking triffids.
Yeah.
I'll give you the last quote then, shall I?
Go on, then.
Propaganda will never die out. Intelligent men must realise that propaganda is the modern instrument by which they can fight for productive ends and help to bring order out of chaos. So there is hope. You've just got to get the propaganda to the right. You've got to get the right propaganda out
To the
there.
right people.
Yeah.
Not so much the right people, but you've got to sway the masses in the with the
you've
right
got
way.
to,
haven't
we've
you?
got to gain control. The people have got to gain control of the media and the fucking government.
But do you
because
think
at the moment it's owned, both of them are owned by corporations?
Do you think social media and the internet is the counter to this?
Well, it would be.
You can say that, but there is something called an echo chamber
Well, I wouldn't.
where you're being fed by the algorithms more and
I
more
only
of the
see
same
what I
thing.
want
Yeah.
to see, don't
But
I?
also,
you don't see the other side of the argument.
It's learning what I like
So
constantly.
there
and
is
only
problems
supplying me
with it,
more.
but then again, the stuff that we're learning now, where do we get it from? We get it from
Exactly.
the
I'll tell you where
That's
you
my
get it from.
point. That quote
Yeah.
said intelligent men, and I hate to call us intelligent, but we're on this.
Well,
Everyone's on the spectrum. There are people way more intelligent than us, and there are people way more stupid than us. We're curious, intellectually curious about
Yeah.
this. So I guess that's what that quote. And is the internet a good tool for us?
well,
yeah.
no, it isn't at the point because in 2016, the BuzzFeed, who were a fairly big
Yeah.
website, media editor Craig Silverman just noticed a stream of fake news websites with massive audiences on Facebook were coming from the Macedonian village of Velez, which is basically, so they were responsible for so many thousand fake
of
Facebook sites
Okay.
where people were sharing news from.
It's full of. It's like a minefield. You got to
Yeah,
navigate.
'cause-
you got
Well,
to
if there's an algorithm
thing
and
is, you
you're
set-
smart
yeah.
enough, you can hack the
Thing
algorithm.
is, you
can't
set a new profile up on Facebook, right? Post some fake news shit for a couple of days before you get shut down because people see it, they share it. You join a few groups, you see it, you share it. All of a sudden, oh, so and so shared so and so's post, so that must mean it's true. Look at these immigrants coming over here taking our jobs, blah de blah de blah. This is, but that post doesn't go away.
I'm seeing
It's
it.
still there. No matter if that account's been deactivated or whatever, that post, because it's been shared, is still floating
Yeah.
about. That's why you end up with these stupid things like dialing the fucking emergency number in reverse,
Right. Okay.
calls the police
Yeah, I
automatically
think
to your
I've seen
location,
this
and stuff like that.
I'm seeing it in direct action on my Facebook because, like what we talked about earlier, this alt-right stuff. Let's say I've liked a few videos and lectures of people shutting down SJWs.
Yeah.
I'm now seeing in my feed, in my algorithm, is more and more alt-right stuff. And I'm not a supporter of them necessarily, right? I'm also, because I've liked a few Rick Simpson, you know Rick Simpson,
No.
the guy. He's the guy who he's on the run he's an American, a Canadian, I think. He's the one who's selling the cannabis oil to children for the seizures and all that. And he's actually living in Holland now on the run. Because I've liked a few of his videos, I'm bombarded by the sort of, I guess, cannabis propaganda.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing it in action, the algorithm in action, and because the things I like of small base, I like pro wrestling, Star Wars, very few things, and I'm seeing the algorithm in action as in real time.
Yeah.
And so but I'm conscious of it. Maybe not every time I'm on Facebook I'm conscious of it, but as we're sat here discussing it, I'm conscious of it. And I'm not saying I'm better than him, but is the man next door, John down the street,
No,
Not-
the fact is he isn't.
He's not.
Sadly,
he's just taking it
he's
all
just
in,
taking it all
thinking
in.
this is all the
It's-
information.
Oh, the
there is.
NHS problem. That's
Yeah.
migrants. That is.
Yes.
Oh, we should charge them every time they get put in an hospital bed. We should have a chip and pin machine by their bed. I'll share that.
Which they have.
No, but it's just
You have to pay
it's
for
terrible.
your television.
Yeah. But if there wasn't so many migrants using the NHS,
No, they
you wouldn't
wouldn't
have
have to,
that.
would they?
No,
No.
bullshit. They would anyway because they're trying
So-
to make some
so
fucking
I'm
money.
trying
But they
to-
got no bloody funding.
Unpack that. Was it Chomsky the last quote? Or no, the one that
Bernays.
said intelligent
Bernays.
men. Bernays. So what I'm trying to get to is, without kissing our own asses and calling us intelligent people, is it up to us? Is what that quote is saying? It is up to us, people like us and more intelligent than us, to educate our fucking selves
Of course
as
it
best
is,
we
yes.
can. But then how?
You must have trusted sources that you know for news.
I guess. Yeah.
The thing is, we
You know, that's
Us-
the trial and error.
Yeah.
I've gone through, I've read, and I've compared it with others, and you find out the news that you can trust. Like Democracy Now!, I trust that. Young Turks, to an extent, I trust them. Even RT.
I've never been sure about RT.
Truth Dig.
The Russian one is RT. The Russian one.
Yeah, Russian.
Yeah.
I never quite been sure
Well,
about that. 'cause
the
when it
thing is,
that- when
they
it-
do report stories that will not be reported
No,
in the West.
but
That's the
of
one.
course.
they're not
Also,
trying to
when
protect
have
the
they
West.
got anything to say? What
Good
have
about
they got to say good about the West?
Right, yeah.
Well, yeah.
They're probably
Like I
on it.
said, if you want to find the truth, you find out what your enemies are saying.
Well, I know that, but what
And
they have
wouldn't
a
you-
biased. You'd argue they could have a
Well, of
bias.
course.
And if you're going to be a responsible citizen, then shouldn't you, if you're aware of all this, then, like you're saying, Mike, have multiple sources.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, multiple sources for your news.
But how many people just watch
Just-
Fox News?
Well,
or
I mean,
just-
Because it's convenient. Life is designed that
Yeah.
way.
No.
It's not their
Yeah,
make
fault.
us work.
really.
Exactly,
Make
yeah.
us
I mean,
work
my
it out a day,
parent- yeah.
and last thing you want to do is come home and start researching the news.
Yeah. No, I know. I know.
My
that
parents
feeling.
will sit there and take the news from the BBC because
As
it's
it
on in the
comes.
morning and it's on in the evening. And my mother, who was reasonably liberal, it's oversight saying stuff like, "Oh, you know what? These immigrants are for to blame for the NHS," and then I have to sit down to explain
Brexit!
to her that Brexit is a good thing, and I have to sit down and explain to her why it isn't, and put my point across. And then she goes, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, okay, maybe it isn't, but I've got my news from somewhere other than the BBC."
She's already got those ideas.
But she's already got those ideas already in her head, and she's quite a liberal person, but those ideas have been put in her head.
And you get cognitive dissonance where you don't want to
You
challenge
don't-
them ideas.
which is what my father has.
This is how I feel about AI every time AI comes up, because I know it's awesome, but it fucking freaks me out.
Yeah.
But so, would you agree with me? Do you think this is a fairly accurate statement to say that your average kind of person,
Your average punter.
of our age, though, is? Would you agree that maybe Facebook is the main source of news for most people?
and I would argue that our generation, the 34 to 35, 36-year-old mark, was the last generation to actually have a reasonably decent one.
With the last generation remembers
What do you mean by
before
that?
the internet.
Because I think it's got worse since.
Okay, that's just an opinion.
I don't think they get.
Yeah. Well, I think the new generation are much more savvy.
See, I don't.
You don't.
To a point, I don't. I mean, there's a lot of dickheads in the next generation coming up.
There's a lot of dickheads in every
But
generation.
yes, there are more progressive types, but they sadly fall
They know
into
a
what
lot-
we talked about earlier, which is the
They
rainbow
know,
coloured
they
hair.
know a lot
and-
more about the world than I did when I was 18.
Yeah, they do, but there's
Because of the
also-
internet.
But what concerns me is that generation of dickheads marching about white pride and their ancestry and with Tika torches.
Well, there is that as well. There's the other side.
That's what
But then there's the
concerns me.
side that Bernie, almost won
There is.
because of the youth.
The future concerns me, man. The
And
future
Corbyn.
concerns me. I mean,
Have you got anything else on
I've
Bernays?
got nothing on Bernays. I've got the. I'll give you a great example. The biggest example of fake news for the election, certainly the US election campaign, was a Pizzagate. I'd argue.
We've been through that, I think, did we?
No, we mentioned it, but it's a debunked conspiracy theory. But the fact is, we've got to cover Alex Jones yet, haven't we?
Yeah.
Spouted this as it was the gospel truth, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
And should we move into Alex Jones on that, Mark? Because I mean, we have talked about this, but it's just insane. It's propagated by people like Jones, who, in my opinion, are just lunatics. But for some people, he's just a lunatic.
He is their
For some
main
people,
news
he's
source.
their main news source. Same as Howard Stern on the radio back in the 90s was the people's source of stuff. I mean,
I've found that through listening to Mr. Jones now and then is that his audience, he's built in this fucking perfect captive audience who listen to his doom-laden naysaying and then conveniently hear the adverts
which
after his 20-minute rant
for his body armour,
for his products, his survivor
they'll
products.
stop a 7.6 round, stop an AK round effectively, 7.76.
And it's built.
They'll stop that.
It's the perfect selling
Of course
platform.
it is.
It's so amazing. It works like, you know, when you're in the supermarket and you didn't know you wanted chocolate, but there's a nice chocolate display next to the till.
Of course there is, yeah.
They call that pressure sales.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have
no,
that. It's only a £1.
That's not the right term. I'm misquoting
No,
that.
it's
called something
impulse.
else.
Impulse
There you
sales.
go. So it's right there, and you didn't know you wanted chocolate, but you see the chocolate, you're like, ooh. So you listen to Alex Jones for 20 minutes, tell you that America is fucked, the world is fucked, you are not safe, your children are not safe, your dog is not safe, your health is under threat, everything is...
Oh, man, not
hey,
vax.
buy my Fix-All #1 all-in-one pill. If you take this pill, you will survive the apocalypse.
And your dog will survive.
Yes, and so will your dog. And it's the perfect built-in system. Some people think Alex is way more evil and
No, I don't think
dangerous.
he's evil.
I think he's a money maker.
Yeah,
I honestly think he's a massive capitalist.
Yeah.
Opportunist.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Scam
an
artist.
incredible
Scammer.
actor.
He's a snake oil.
Snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
An incredible actor.
Yeah.
An amazing orator. Because he doesn't have script writers.
Well, he learned off Hitler, for fuck's sake.
Well, look, he
at
doesn't
his
have-
speeches, they're short, they're sharp.
Yeah, but
this is what's going to happen, this is why it's going to happen, this is how I
That
can
man
save you.
produces.
They're nothing but short.
That man
No, but
produces.
every point is short.
Yeah, but that man produces 4 hours of audio content 5 days a week
Yeah.
for God knows how many years it's been going. He's excellent. He
Yeah.
is a very creative, talented man. He's an arsehole. I'm not bigging him up. He's a twat. He's a snake oil salesman. He's a capitalist, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
I
right
agree.
now, what is hilarious is the most recent one I listened to, he is so under fire from people accusing him of being funded by the Russians, and he's loving this though.
Of course he
It
is.
validates him. It validates him because he gets to say, "Oh, you think I'm a Russian shill because you don't agree with my message because I'm saying what's right." Blah blah blah.
I'm an American patriot, damn it.
Buy my fucking safety pills.
Buy my bulletproof vests. Buy my bunker.
I wish that was a joke. He
I know.
sells bunkers and he sells.
I know he
bulletproof
does. I've
vests.
listened to his show. He sells bulletproof vests. I'll stop an AK round. I mean, it's
He's a
insane.
shill, but so
He's selling military grade body armour,
Yeah.
Gaz.
But to get it to
Where's he
connect,
got it from?
to connect it to the subject, though, is that his listeners don't necessarily know that or believe that. Okay?
Yeah.
His listeners, your average trailer park dwelling Alex Jones listener,
Brexit voting.
if they lived in England,
Brexit
definitely,
voting.
right?
Sorry.
They are believing him that Hillary smells of sulphur and eats babies.
And Obama.
And
Well, we got some clips.
The Obama quote.
have you got clips?
I've got
You've
it.
got actual clips.
Oh,
I love you, Mike.
The Obama
Yeah.
thing is fantastic. Have you got the Obama clip?
Yeah, I've got
Oh,
something.
fantastic. Should we call
I
a
need
break?
a toilet
then?
break. You want to
Yeah.
You got one over, you bastard.
Yeah, sorry. All right, we're back on.
So some Alex Jones, yeah?
Alex Jones. Alex fucking Jones. Oh, go on then, Mike. Hit us with it. Is this the full 6 minutes?
Saying is,
No.
I'm trying to save humanity. I'm trying to have a future for my kids. The globalists are building a world, in their own words, where normal human life is over. It's a total revolution against the planet itself. It's an elite playing God. And I've done my research, and even 10 years ago, I wasn't like this. I talk about it, I get chills, folks. It's the devil, okay?
Oh,
And the churches aren't going to tell you. It is an alien force, not of this world,
all right.
attacking humanity like the Bible and every other ancient text says.
Does that mean that the Quran's
And you can read
okay?
the Bible, it's hiding in plain view, folks. It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence. We're facing. I refuse to fight with everybody. All the stupid racist white people, the stupid racist black people, all the stupid racist Mexicans, all of you. I can't stand you, you're idiots. Under attack. Everybody's under attack. The elite hate Trump. Let me tell you, if he is a psyop, he's the most sophisticated one I ever saw. And even if he is, he's a revelation of the awakening, and they're having to pull this trick to try to divert us. Doesn't matter. It's part of the awakening. Humanity has got to get off world. We need access to life extension technologies. Talk about discrimination.
Thing is, that bit I agree
I
with.
want the advanced life extension.
Where's the sound coming from?
I want to go to space.
Oh.
I want to see interdimensional travel. I want what God promised us, and I won't sit here and watch Satan steal it.
See, apart from that bit, I'm with him.
Everything.
I love him.
See, apart from that bit, I'm with him. Survive the species. Let's get out there. Let's do stuff.
Try to talk over it, Ben, because the people listening.
Sorry. I couldn't help myself. I was just like,
Well, that.
it's Trump. Well, it's not Trump.
And that's a month. See, that's a very recent one because he's talking about Trump. He's just he is one of the best writers.
Comedy writers.
Oh yeah, look, I didn't say drama. I know everyone hates him, but you've got to respect him in a weird way. That was fucking
Fantastic rant. You want another one?
Yeah,
Wow,
go
this
on.
is propaganda on a big scale. Come on, Alex.
Most of the so-called liberal lesbians and all these groups, they just want to have the guy with the duck's ass haircut and the James Dean outfit. The truth is James Dean wasn't slapping girls around, but they want to be the ones slapping the girls around, and statistically it shows it. I'm not blaming all lesbians, but it shows that most of these butch lesbians, they want to be the guy smacking the hot chick around. They think that's manly. And a lot of the chicks, they like it. See, because no man will do that to them, and I'm not saying it's good if a man does that, but some women like it. And if they can't find a man to smack them around, well, they found them a girl gonna do it real good. Knock them upside their head and have 50 Shades of Grey about the sexy rich guy that's gonna chain you up. Of course, you're gonna go get chained up one time. They're gonna put that devil mask or that piggy mask on. They're gonna say, now I'm gonna torture you for about 6 weeks.
Alex is talking sexy. I don't like it.
Alex is talking toy box killer.
They want to get you in a dungeon. They want to strap you down and take a buzzsaw and cut the top of your head off like a pumpkin and pull it off and get a little spoon and go, well, you're looking in the mirror. This is one thing I know they like to do. They go, I'm going to eat your brain now.
That's what I like to do.
Let's start at the side areas here because we don't want to take away your sight at the back or your thinking on the front. I'm going to eat your cerebral cortex last. Because I've got power! I love Satan! And I'm going to suck you dry, and I'm going to torture you to death! And you're going to follow my liberal orders. And you're going to talk like I talk. And you're going to be guilty when I say you're guilty. And you're going to bow to me. And I'm going to teach huge hordes of people that we shovel welfare at to hate you if you produce, to hate you if you're good, and to create a total system of collapse.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if he was on the news at 10.
Oh, the news at 10 with
think
Trevor
that's
Lesbians
Dunn.
want to eat your brains, for fuck's sake!
I think my mum would change the
And not
fucking channel.
and not just at the middle of your
Oh
brain,
my.
the outside of your brain,
Oh
so they can
my.
make it last longer. And they'll hail Satan while they do it.
That was incredible.
Oh my God, that's but that's
Now,
the thing.
please buy my anti-lesbian pills, which are available from Amazon.com.
The lesbians want to eat your brains.
Holy
Yeah.
moly.
Yeah,
If I ever come
and
across
torch
this.
you. Don't forget they want to torch you for 6 weeks.
Jesus.
Because he was describing the toy box killer to a point. Then he just said that there were lesbians doing it. He's like, that's already been done by a guy.
Wow.
I got one more, and it's a rant someone did as an indie folk song. Has anyone heard
I love this. I love this more than anything, and I
great.
know all the lyrics.
It's brilliant. Isn't it?
Okay, I
love
haven't heard this,
Oh,
okay.
Ben, this is incredible.
The paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers, scum. They're a giant death factories keeping babies alive. They're selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green and ugly skin. They run around screaming, we love Satan, we want to eat baby. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man.
I've heard this, yeah. Yeah,
She
I've heard it.
sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird old woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like soul food.
I'm telling you, boxing match, me and him.
In a room, vampire pot, and a goblin. Around, coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil, and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna steal your daughter at the mall.
Oh, fuck.
We're gonna steal your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife. This chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so sweet.
I would like to also reiterate my challenge to Alex Jones. Meet me in Dory Town Hall. I'll give you a boxing match. It'll be 15 rounds of heavyweight action.
How
So,
good is that though, man?
just to
That
say,
is also superb.
to just explain, if anyone hasn't heard that before to the listener, every lyric of that folk song you just heard was an actual videoed, recorded quote. Not one word of that was made up. Alex Jones literally said every line of that song at some point in all quote unquote seriousness.
And
And
that is
this
why I
guy-
would like to fight him at Dory Town Hall.
And this
Can
guy,
we share that?
hang
Can we
on.
trend that? I
This
want
guy
I
has
want to see a
some serious
hashtag
influence.
Ben versus Alex.
This guy is where Trump gets his news from.
Oh god.
He's been on his show.
Yeah, they're friends.
He's a White House consultant, apparently, according
There
to
we
him.
go. Probably is.
So I put it to you. Hashtag Ben v Alex. Winner takes all.
No. Look what happened with me with my Jesus challenge. He sent some bloody youths to beat me up, so you might get killed by some Texan
We're living in a
rednecks.
fake news era, as you know.
Oh, shite.
Oh, technical difficulties.
Yeah.
My mic went flat.
So,
Not Mike sitting, the host, presenter.
I've been hard all the way through it.
you know, to Alex Jones, you went floppy. Let that be a lesson to you people.
Well, if Alex Jones won't kill you hard on, nothing will.
If you're an American right-wing patriot and you want your erection to stay supple, don't listen to Alex Jones.
Well, I think that is just an absolutely beautiful example of. And the scary thing is, like you said, Mike, not only is he mates with Trump, but never mind that, Alex Jones's audience is not insignificant.
No, they're
it's
not.
Fucking huge.
It's fucking huge. Huge.
I
tell you,
my audience is bigger than anybody else's audience.
Do you see what the
My
Pope
audience.
has to say about fake news?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, you mean from his fucking snake throne, his reptilian throne, in his snake building? Yeah, let's listen to what the fucking reptilian lord himself, I have to say, shall we? Yeah, it's a good idea. Crack on with it.
King of made-up fucking stories. Let's see what he says about fake
The
news.
guy sat on his throne, his golden throne, behind a background of reptilians rising in his snakehead throne room. Yes, let's listen to what he has to say.
Okay, I've been told that the Pope Mobile is much faster than the Batmobile. Okay, I know that. That's a fact. It's a fact. Okay.
I disagree.
All right.
Fake news.
Well, the Pope, he warns against fake news and likens it to crafty serpent in Genesis.
He's got a throne room full of crafty serpents. He's got a massive one sat right behind him.
Pope Francis released a message condemning fake news, saying that it's a sign of intolerant and hypersensitive attitudes and leads only to the spread of arrogance and hatred. What, like your religion?
Yeah, like you've covered up priests having sex with children, like that.
God, yeah, that's not fake news. Do you know
That's
what I
not
mean?
fake news. That's real news.
Oh my.
Sort it out, Pope.
Spreading fake news can serve to advance specific goals, influence political decisions, and serve economic interests.
Oh, you mean like the church did back in the Middle Ages when it put Galileo under house arrest so that...
The Pope on how to combat fake news.
Oh Lord, let's hear his advice.
Okay.
The truth will set you free.
Wait, hang on. The truth will set... Wasn't that 1984?
Mm-hmm.
The truth will set you free.
Could be, I've heard it from something.
You might as well be saying work will set you free, and that was the motto of the concentration camps.
All I can say to my fellow Westerner is keep on rocking in
The free world. Yeah. Listen, I'll tell you what, listeners. Once you finish this podcast, go and listen to that song. The Pearl Jam version, the Neil Young version. I don't mind.
Because it's great, because on one hand...
It'll bring you back to perspective.
Yeah, lyrically, you can feel really depressed and like, oh god, yeah, the world is fucked. But musically, it sort of invented heavy metal, didn't it? Dun, 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 dun,
It invented grunge.
Dun, dun.
It certainly invented grunge.
I'll have a tune anyway.
So gents, go. Okay.
What's next?
I write fake news.
Okay.
Okay, then.
I'm furthering ignorance, certainly, but I don't think people have died as a result of my work.
No,
is this a fake news journalist admitting he's a... Okay.
I've been writing articles for far-right websites in the US for a year now. I didn't set out to do this. It started in October 2016 when I was finishing my PhD in London. My funding ran out and I started writing content to pay the rent. I found clients through websites that allow potential writers to bid for work and then build a portfolio of reviews from clients. There is an enormous amount of work available, everything from writing product copy to ghostwriting novels.
Wow.
The first jobs I got were pretty shady. I was writing fake Amazon reviews and descriptions of perfume that had yet to be produced. A reliable client put me in touch with a colleague who runs a number of websites, one of which focuses on news about and reviews of guns.
Wow.
This is in The Guardian, by the way.
By Anonymous.
I have never seen a gun, let alone used one, but I took the job. The site carries reviews of handgun accessories, and for each product there is a link to Amazon. My client gets paid for every click-through he generates through Amazon's affiliate scheme. There are vast numbers of such sites. I've written fake reviews of amplifiers, baby products, printers and sex toys. At first I was paid $20 for 1,000 words. As the site began to make more money, I got paid more. I now get triple my original rate. I have never met my client, but we talk once a month to set priorities. He is young, American and not into guns. We write under a number of pseudonyms that are designed to look trustworthy to right-leaning American gun enthusiasts. Generally, retired men with links to the military. I write for about 15 hours a week and make £2,400 a month.
Man, I should be doing something more.
Yeah, I was just thinking, fuck it, I'm going to actually do this. Fuck my politics and my opinions.
I write articles arguing that banning bump stocks, which enable semi-automatic guns to fire more rapidly, won't prevent mass shootings, and the left skews statistics. I believe the opposite to be true. I vehemently disagree with what I write and with the sites I write for. I often despair at the ignorance on display. Only once have I written for a site that was racist. There was an article about them referring to black people. That was the only time I've questioned what I do for a living.
Shocking. Especially with the bum sucks.
Yeah.
But I've got experience of this though, and this makes sense now that we're buying things from Amazon, where you click on the reviews, and there will be, let's say for example, 10 5-star reviews.
Yeah. And they all look very similar, don't they?
And a couple of 1-star reviews, which we'll read, and it skews the whole thing because you're suddenly like, well, those 2 1-star reviews are quite scathing and honest, like this product is shit. For example, cheap plug, sorry guys, my side project Transcast Live, which is not about being transgender.
Or transformer gender.
I bought a clip-on mic for £7, and the reviews were like 4 point something out of 5, and I didn't read a single one. I bought it, got it, and had real problems with it. Read these reviews then and dug deeper, ignored every 5-star review basically, and just read the 2 and 1-star reviews, and they were all saying the same things of what I was experiencing. It doesn't fucking work. So where did all those 5-star fucking reviews come from? And this fucking article,
and that leads us
it,
back
they're
in a nice little circle to all the bots that influenced Brexit, that influenced the American election.
If it was the reviews of fucking Star Wars, for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And these things influence everything. I mean, that Macedonian village where everything was coming from. This is, you can't trust anything on the internet anymore.
Well,
unless it comes from
things,
certain verified sites, which sadly are being shouted out by the amount of bots there are.
Well, I made up my own fake news.
Go on then.
You want to see it?
Yeah. Is this Mike fake news?
Ben Carter eats cat poop to reach website front page.
I probably wouldn't do that.
Telford, England. Ben Carter has done it again. This time, Carter appears in a video eating cat poop for a few dollars. Friends gathered round, and Carter showed the poop the camera, ate it, and then began throwing up.
Yeah.
Apparently, Carter may win $400 if the video reaches the homepage of some website. So we're happy to share this video with our readers.
The worst thing is, I don't know if that's fake news or not.
And if you share that will get shared around, won't it? And possibly reach the front page.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. I could make my own fake news. I don't know if
There are sites.
Oh,
worst dressed.
Gaz Vincent wins worst dressed at 2017 Telford New Year's Eve party. Gaz Vincent is bringing.
Why is he get cat poop and he got worse dress?
Because I don't eat cat shit.
Hey, I was once and it was a bet.
Gaz Vincent is bringing in the new year with shame. Vincent won the 2017 New Year Eve bash at Telford Worst Dressed Award, exciting an echo of boos from the entire ballroom.
Would be the first.
Gaz, who showed up in what they describe as a skinned peacock, accepted the award graciously. This is the first thing I've ever won, exclaimed the oblivious Gaz.
Oblivious.
So where's yours?
I got mine as well.
Oh,
There
fantastic.
we go. Gas should stay away from black tie events. I've never been invited to one.
Magnitude 7.8 earthquake caused by massive fire. A massive 7.8 earthquake has left thousands injured in Telford. According to officials, the supersonic boom was man-made. Officials say pure human flatulence is to blame for Sunday's quake. That's right, a massive fart was the cause of this tragedy. City officials have tracked the origins of the blast home of Telford resident Mike Martin. Hundreds of Telford residents have been treated for asphyxiation, likely from trying to hold their breath. According to sources close to Martin, the human stink bomb was attributed largely to a diet that was too rich in fatty food and energy drinks. Martin, the Telford
That's
District
kind
Attorney's
of
office
real news
could
though.
be reached for comment on this matter.
Okay. I love it. Well, I wanted, remember I mentioned I wanted to invent a new game called Fake News versus Fake News.
Okay.
Where I got a fake news story and then wrote my own and you two had to guess.
Yeah.
I got as far as writing one.
Okay.
But it has been my birthday. So, welcome to the game show Fake News or Fake News.
Fake news or fake news?
Yes. I'm going to read you 2 headlines and I want you to guess which is fake and which one did I make up. So, Russian officials have been lacing water supplies with testosterone in an effort to curb possible future homosexual behaviour.
Okay, that one I can imagine possibly being true,
That's
in all
the-
fairness.
The
Okay.
first one. Second one. Australian officials are deploying a genetically modified vaccine aerially without consent from residents.
I go for the first one.
First one's fake
First
or
one's-
fake.
First one's fake.
I'll
I
go
think
for the
Australia
first one.
one's
Fake. Gaz made the first one.
Actually, yeah, Gaz wrote the
Don't
first
change your answer because you said the first thing. This is a game
Oh.
show.
one. Okay, yeah. Mike makes a good point. I'll go for yeah. I've got,
Mike won.
Oh.
I wrote the Russian one and the Australian.
Yeah.
My plan was to do a load of them, but
I'm shit at this.
There's only one question, so I'm the winner.
essentially what it comes down to is though, in this fucking current climate,
Yeah.
as Mike's fake news stories have proved based on each of us, and everything we've talked about today, they can say whatever the fuck they want for whatever reason they deem to be justifiable, and we are nothing but the puppets on their fucking stage.
Absolutely.
And
And let's sum it up. That's a good summarisation, Gaz. Mike,
I've
you
got
got
a couple
any?
of quotes.
Go on, give it the quotes, and then we'll sum this shit up.
yeah, this has been a marathon.
It
It's
has.
been fun. I said it for the third time. And sorry if this is a bit gross to the listener. You're not supposed to like your own stuff, but I fucking love this podcast.
I like it. It's therapy.
It fucking is.
I've got one sort of fact for you.
Go on then.
We are ranked 40th in the world for press freedom,
Wow.
behind Suriname, Namibia, and Ghana.
Who the
Wow.
fuck is Suriname?
There's some
That's a
Far
lad I
Eastern
went
country.
to school with, isn't it?
No, Gaz, it isn't.
It's an actual country.
It
It
is.
used to be the Dutch
I-
Antilles,
I apologise to the
Or the-
people of Suriname.
or the Netherlands Antilles, I think.
Wow.
Suriname.
So what does that mean? So in terms of
It means that, in terms of like press reliability, we're
Yeah.
behind Ghana
And Namibia.
and Namibia, countries that, in all fairness, send me a lot of spam emails telling me how I'm the
so they
So
tell less
benefactor
bullshit
massive-
in Ghana. I am a prince, but I have no access to my money.
That's the one.
But if you give me your bank details,
That's exactly it. So basically, it's saying that, isn't it?
Well,
It's,
we've gone through
wow.
who owns the UK media. 3 companies control 71% of newspapers.
That
wow.
fucking old man murder
A few more fucked
It
up
fucked my
facts.
internet over Christmas.
bastard.
Yeah. Sorry, go
Some
on,
more
mate.
fucked up facts.
Go on then.
Yeah.
Okay, before the light bulb
Okay.
was invented, have a guess at what the average sleep in the UK was.
5
Ooh.
hours.
Ben says 5. Before the invention of the light bulb,
Oh, I'm going to say similar, so I'm going to go 6. 'cause I think it's
Okay.
around that.
it was 10.
Wow.
We
Really?
used to sleep because without the
The
light
rhythms.
bulb, yeah, the rhythms. The average is 10
What's
hours.
it called? Circadian.
Ah, so
Yeah.
yeah, but you'd literally finish work. You work 6 till 6. You work daytime
Well, yeah,
to.
you needed the fucking 10 hours.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Well, yeah. 'cause
Yeah.
work
Yeah,
was a
you
lot
were
harder
literally
back then.
first light to last light, and then you went
That was
home
before
and.
the Industrial Revolution. To
Yeah.
be fair, we lived on individual farms,
Mm.
and then in the 1801 there was a bill, the Enclosures Act,
Mm.
and it basically just stole land from people. Yeah, gave it to corporations and private landowners,
Mm.
and forced them into the factories because we needed men in the factories. Well, women and children in the factories.
Hey, it's progress.
Yeah.
And that's why we've got these microphones
Exactly.
and this laptop.
Yeah, so it was 10
iPhone.
hours, and now, have a guess, the average?
I was thinking about
Similar
5
closer
hours.
to what we both
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
5 or 6. Yeah.
Guys is close, so 6.9 is the average.
Yeah, I would
So
say
we've
that is
lost
about
3
what I
hours
get.
because of the light bulb.
Yeah, fuck me.
Damn it.
No wonder we're all fucking insane. We're not getting enough sleep in this country.
Well,
And I wear a Fitbit, and it tells me how much sleep I've had
oh
to
no,
a
I
point.
couldn't hack that. It would do my head.
Yeah, it does. It's like 6.3 hours. Yeah.
10.
27 minutes restless. You're like, oh, fuck off, I was asleep.
Oh man. And then,
Yeah.
speaking as somebody who used methamphetamine pretty much daily for a 2 or 3 year period of his life.
You are a drug-addled lunatic, guys.
Not anymore. I used to be. I could say that the adding of chemicals to that equation can negate
Lower it.
the need for sleep, and
Yeah.
isn't that fucked up in itself?
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Do you know about to medieval times?
come on then, mate.
Let's take us back.
In medieval chess, each pawn had its own role.
All right.
So you had the gambler, the city guard,
Do you have the midnight smoker?
Hey, tell the rambler, the gambler.
the innkeeper.
The midnight toker, sorry. Midnight
Oh, that's
toker.
different. So I was doing the Johnny Cash, you were doing
Ah.
the one you should be doing, yes, the more obvious one. The Joker.
Yes.
The song's called, I believe.
Yeah.
So we've got the gambler, the city guard, the innkeeper, the merchant, the doctor, the weaver, the blacksmith, and the farmer.
Oh, Christ, you don't remember all them?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just thought it was
Well, I've
interesting
already
that they've
Yeah.
lost. We've lost that, haven't we?
yeah.
So, shall we try
To sum up fake
and
news.
wrap this up? 'Cause I think for once, all three of us are pretty much on bang on exactly the same
For once.
page.
Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it, man.
I think that fake news and everything that comes with it is a detriment to our survival as a species.
Yeah.
I think all we've got to look at is the survival of the species in the long term.
Hang on a minute. I reckon you got to look at the survival of the species
As an intelligent species.
as intelligent and ethical.
Yeah, I agree. So we've got to look at that, and this is a detriment to that. It's a detriment to our progression as a species. We need to get out there and get into the stars and be an ethical, rational species. And this stuff, I don't like it.
No.
I genuinely don't. I don't like people dressing up in Nazi regalia and
Well,
Confederate
it's brainwashing.
uniforms
It's brainwashing.
and stuff like that, because you know what? For a start,
What's the difference between us and North Korea at the end of the day?
Yeah, exactly. And why do you, first of all, why do you want to be on the fucking losing side? The Confederates lost, the
Mate.
Nazis lost. Granddad used a shovel on someone, but on them.
The difference between
Fuck's
me
sake.
and North Korea is about 1.5 feet. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, get me covered. It's my birthday. I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beers. I'm allowed to be racist-ish.
Get the fuck
Friendly
out.
racist.
Get the fuck out. But
all
no,
I
it
really
terrifies
says-
me because we've got to go forward as a species, not backwards. And all we seem to be doing is going backwards. Even the Brexit thing is a step backwards. We've gone from cooperation to non-cooperation. And it terrifies me, in all fairness. It really does. All of it. 'Cause I'm thinking to myself, we live in Britain. And I'm thinking to myself, where the fuck can I move to that's not as shit as here?
That's a problem.
That's not
see.
getting this stuff shoved down their throats every day. That I don't walk around and think, these people are brainwashed morons. I'm talking to at work and they're telling me stuff that's they've just repeated from the Sun and the Daily Mail, and that it's the truth. And no, it
Yeah, but
isn't.
mate, it's no.
You can't convince them that it's like arguing with a flat earther.
One of my closest friends lives in Italy. Oh, sorry. And I was in Milan, where she lives, around the time of a local election. And I've never seen anything like it in England. Billboards, there were a lot of candidates. There weren't just two parties, there were a fuckload of candidates. And the billboards were absolutely everywhere. But they're not like British billboards. To me, they were comical, like hilarious, because it was literally a man with his dog. And I'm not joking, a man with his...
See, I'd vote for that dude.
With his actual dog.
If he's nice to a dog, he's alright.
And obviously I can't understand any of the written language that's there. And the next one will be some woman trying to look very
You
homely.
know what?
and-
That would be me. I would be the dude in my dog. That would be me. I'd have the dog sat next to me.
I mean-
Vote for me. I'm Ben. I'm great.
But their attitude of it, because
Look at him. He's cute.
I can only speak for the friends that I have in Italy, but I was asking about these billboards and like, isn't this is overkill, isn't it? What's so important about this? And essentially, kind of the gist I got was like, our politics is so corrupt, and we know it's so corrupt that we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, then generally, like I know that advert is bullshit, and that because
Even
corruption
the man
in
in his dog.
corruption in Italy is a lot more.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot less undercover than it is here. It's
Yeah.
just more accepted.
I mean, their prime minister's having bunga bunga parties,
Yeah,
which
corruption-
I admire at his age, at 78 or whatever the hell he was.
and in
And
India,
he's having bunga bunga parties. Love that. Love it. I wish our politicians were doing more of that. I think more Theresa May if she was banging like 12 dudes in a night.
in a wheat field.
In a wheat field.
So-
I think more of it. I really
So-
would.
I think, should we try and sum up then, mate? So I get what you're saying, Ben, is, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but essentially that as has always been, as will always be,
I know.
this shit is...
But it's got worse, hasn't it?
It's
That's the
dumbing us
problem.
down. Yes, but then, okay, my point would be, I guess, I do think that it's worse than ever. I agree. Well, I can't speak for the past, but my hope is, and I know this might be hopelessly naive, because I know about the algorithms and net neutrality and all that, but we have to believe that the internet is a tool for people like us three sat here to educate ourselves, and hopefully there are more like us, more educated than us, more intelligent than us, more proactive than
I
us,
hope so.
reading more stuff than us, and then spreading information to people like us. And I would just like to hope that we have this hope now, we have this tool that never existed before the internet.
No. Well, it was we had libraries.
Yes.
That was
And
it.
my-
You had to
your
go
library-
research in a
And I know, and I love that idea, but the reality is that you couldn't pull your
good
library
point.
out of your phone
No.
and have
So easy
instantaneous
now,
access
But
to
that's the problem.
While you
we
sat
have,
on a bus.
we have like instantaneous access to anything we ever want to know, literally sat in the palm of our hands.
Yeah,
And
we
so
were
many
looking
of
at
us
cat
have
videos
so-
and
What do we
tentacle
use it
porn.
to? Yeah. Fucking
Cat
hell.
videos and tentacle porn.
Bukkake
Well, that-
in the field,
That
yay!
that may be more so
Sorry,
you,
that was
Mike,
just me.
tentacle porn. But the point is, what we're doing, we're not doing anything with
Exactly, of course. I played Worms.
it. Exactly.
I download PS1 games to my phone, and I'm so amazed. Instead of actually walking over to my physical PS1 that still exists, I'm like, whoa, my phone. But my point is, I'm hoping, well, it could go the other way. The internet is either makes propaganda even more possible and insidious and dangerous than it ever has been before, or for people like us, hopefully, it's a bit of a beacon of hope. It's a double-edged sword.
Look, you've just got people like DeGrasse Tyson, like Hawking, being
Fake news is
shouted
bad,
out,
though.
like being shouted out by just blokes in the street. Well, Barry from so and so says that black holes are just bollocks, so it's all right. We'll believe that, and that's what the fucking
So it
problem
must
is.
be true.
You've got dumbasses sharing dumbasses posts.
But then will
I'm
they
not
just
saying that we're not
disappear into-
dumbasses, but my God, at least you try and make a conjure point now and again.
Will those people just disappear into ever-decreasing circles?
No, they'll be shared because that's the problem.
Well,
That is the problem. This social media shit. It's all fucking.
we're going to find out, aren't we?
Well, I think
What are you saying, Mike? What would
it's
yours?
the youth, man. The next generation coming up are quite more savvy than we were. You
I
know.
hope so.
And I saw glimmers of hope of it with Bernie and
Corbyn. To be
Corbyn.
fair, yeah.
I did a bit of science here as well.
Oh, go on.
There's a glitch in the human brain that equates repetition with truth. It's called the illusory truth effect.
All right. Okay.
So it is something hardwired into us a little bit.
I like that. Say it again. The difference between repetition and
Yeah, it's a glitch in the human brain that equates repetition with truth. The whole Hitler thing, you tell a lie big enough and say it all.
keep drilling it in.
That's,
But
you know,
It's
but it just works.
indoctrination,
It works the other way, doesn't it? I mean, like we alluded to last episode. I had the Lord's Prayer done into me every
There
day,
you go. Yeah.
and now I don't believe in it. So
Yeah,
that's,
I
at
think-
some point, you get that shit drilled into you enough. You go, you know what? Nah, that's bullshit.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to call a pin.
And I think that's the
Yeah.
best way to end. Actually, you get that
I
stuff
was
drilled
gonna
into
say
you
that-
enough,
that
and if
really
you have a
is
certain
big.
intelligence,
I just want to say that the extreme version of propaganda is obviously 1984 and all that, isn't it?
of course it is.
There's no reason why we can't go there. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Well,
If we keep letting the shit go down the way it's going down, that is the path we're going to be ending up.
some would say we're there,
Yeah.
wouldn't they?
Well, near enough. I suppose it could go even worse. Could something like They Live, you know.
Or V for Vendetta.
Or V
Some
for
would say
Vendetta.
we're there,
Yeah.
wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really do need to put a pin in it,
Yeah.
there, boys.
Okay, so
We can pause it though and do our
No,
goodbyes.
well, that's it now.
we go.
Do our
Can
goodbyes.
it last a couple of minutes?
Seconds.
Seconds.
Well, what have you got?
Nothing. I'm just gonna say goodbye.
Oh, I have to say
What
goodbye
an
at the end.
So basically, don't believe anything you're told.
Yep.
I've been Ben, and stay classy.
I've been Gaz, Free Biff Tannen.
I'm in Mike. Peace out. Thanks
And
for
good
listening.
night. Thanks for
Thank you
listening.
so much, guys.